I'll be. Yeah, live.
Now
Ooh,
we are
okay.
live. Alright, you want to introduce yourself, Legrand?
Yes. So I'm legrandgrand. I'm a world record holder for this game. I love this game to death. It's fantastic, and yeah, we're going to be able to showcase what it's like to run Genius of Sappherios. And so for my commentary, we've got.
It is I, Zelda Fan 024. How is everyone doing today?
Doing good, and I am Pink Pajamas. I will probably call Zelda Fan 024 Z, ZF for short, as we normally do. Okay. So a couple of things I do want to say before we start, because there's going to be a lot to say. Is that first off, we have attack animations turned off, and while the game has a lot of neat animations, it's just faster to play without them. And even if you if you're playing fast, then the animations kind of bug out. And for those of you who don't know what Touhou is, it's sort of this series of shmup or bullet hell games, and these games have spawned a lot of different doujin or indie art, music games, and so on. And Genius of Sappherios is one of those games, being an RPG. All right.
RPG a la Romancing Saga. If you want to be even more precise, it's known to be very difficult, and it's kind of insane to actually do a run. It's even more insane to do it in like 3 hours and 20 minutes. So there's going to be a lot to talk about.
The game is huge, and I've written 17 pages. So whenever you're ready,
okay,
you're going to close the game, open up a save, and then start. You want me to count you down?
Yeah, sure.
3, 2, 1, go. So we loaded the save file, and that actually keeps a few things in memory. Half of the important part of that is at the very beginning. We're going to recruit a character called Mako, which normally you would recruit much later in the game. And we're going to go into the forest. There's another recruit that you can get a lot earlier on, but it's by standing in one of the temples for a full in-game hour. And even though she's the last one that gets recruited, it's like, hour 10 when we would normally get her. Anyway.
About an hour and a half.
The record was an hour 10. But
Okay.
Depends on how well we're going to play today.
Gonna be about an hour, I believe.
I believe that we'll actually cut the hour and go that fast.
I'd be very impressed if I managed to go that fast.
Yeah, so staying in theme with the fact that this is like a game off of the Touhou game shmups, there are lives and bombs for each characters, and then points and power that you get. So we just beat a character, and there are these little blue points, and there's these red P's. So the points are just experience. The P, or the power, is something that you can put into your growths for the characters that you can redivide at any time that you want. And be getting a... so what we're going to be doing at this first stage is fighting a bunch of encounters to get enough for a power level up. Because whenever you beat a boss, you get a full power level up, and the power doesn't carry over. If you look at the results screen, it's that yellow bar on the right. So lives don't really matter that much, even when you're playing casually. Basically, you have a limited number of times that your character can die before the next heal, and it's very rare that it goes over. And then bombs. Bombs are kind of a unique thing. So there are regular skills called Danmaku skills, and then bomb skills. So right here, Wind God's Fan. That is a bomb skill. But the laser that Marisa did there was a Danmaku skill, which just used MP. So bombs are kind of like a second form of MP, but it doesn't increase by level. It does. There are some parts of the growths where bombs increases, and there's like some equipment that has bombs on them, but it's really just going to be in growths for this run. Anyway, here's the boss to stage 1, and pretty much all we're going to be doing is just throwing out our strongest bomb attacks. Which
Also,
is
these songs bobs.
just 2 of them. Part of what makes it so easy at the very beginning is Moko is pretty good. Anyway, now we're in this stage. We're going to go back to the heal spot. See, we're putting some points in the growths here just to get some extra damage output. Nothing too special. So the characters, I'm going to talk about each of the characters when they get into the main party, and we start with a main party of 4. So Nicole, the character with the long white hair, it's modeled, and the red clothes modeled after a phoenix. She's one of the best characters in the speedrun. She's got very good stats all around, but very few skills to work with. If you're not getting skills off of your weapon, then the only skills she has are based off of bombs, and even then, it's not much. That said, she's got the few skills that she does have are pretty good. Flying Phoenix in particular is used a lot. And another thing is that Mako only starts with 3 bombs, whereas most characters start with 4 or 5. You can get a couple more in growths later, but we're at 3 for the most part. So basically she can only get 3 big attacks in until we get to another save or heal spot. But that's still, Mako is still just strong enough to be really good. Next one is Reimu, the other character in red, who's modeled after the Friend Maiden. She's often the main character of the Touhou games, including this one. And she has 3 different roles that she plays. One is just being a light elemental mage, which is what we're going to be using her for at the beginning parts. Probably, I think, like the entire first half. The first half of the game, not the run. She's also a healer, which really isn't too relevant for this speedrun, and she's also a barrier user, which is going to come into play much later. But yeah, for now she starts as a mage, and she actually starts with one of her strongest attacks, Fantasy Heaven. It's still a very expensive skill, and it's a 2-bomb skill. But you know, for bosses, that's still very strong. So the next character I want to explain is Marisa, the one in the back there with the witch hat. She is appropriately a mage. She has quick and efficient fire, ice, and lightning spells. And she also has these mystic elemental spells, which includes like her signature Master Sparks and some of her lasers and such. So the mystic element is sort of an almighty element, but not exactly. For the most part, there's going to be no weaknesses or no resistances to the mystic element. So that's kind of how we could think about it. So yeah, that's kind of what Marisa is. And then Aya, the remaining fourth character, the black-haired girl modeled after a Tengu. He has some area of effect physical attacks or AoE physical attacks. They're kind of weak, so we're only going to be using them in like these first two stages. And she has agility support skills, most notably the skill called Illusionary Dominance, which makes your entire party go first, and that is really good. She's also the best character to have in your party when you're trying to run away, since running away is kind of speed-based. So the progression through this stage is we need to hit 2 switches in the back, and whenever you close the menu, the game saves. So you just kind of save, warp out. Let's see, are you going to go back? Nope, you already got your power level point. And we're up to the stage 2 boss. It's not going to be that much harder at all. So one little trick that we do use is that we make sure that we kill them with the same attack, the both of them with the same attack. It's actually, it cuts down on like the death animation, because it takes like 5 seconds for them to crumple down. And if you can get both of them to do it at the same time, you're going faster. Yes, the Yukuri are in fact in the speedrun. Only for the second half-ish?
Sort of? Yeah.
Sort
about
of.
that.
Yeah, sort of.
There's one about Dead Center, but...
Mm-hmm. I mean, Dead Center game-wise, it's an hour in run-wise.
It's fine. That's basically Dead Center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so... completing Scarlet Devil Mansion, the first 2 stages, we get 3 new characters joined in our party, Nitori, Sakuya, and Patchouli, and we're going to put Patchouli into our current empty slot. So Patchouli's in our main party. I'd like to explain her. She is a strong mage that has a large magic skill set with every element in the game. And by strong mage, that is also literal, because her good stats are MP, int, and strength. She has no strength-based skills, but she has strength.
She can use books to bonk people. That's what I did in high school.
And she is one of the best physical attackers.
I don't know about that, but...
I do. I have done solo runs, and she was the main for most of them.
She can bonk, but yeah, she doesn't have any natural physical skills. But onto that, with our current formation, she's actually in a physical spot. But anyway, currently she doesn't have the strongest magic, because she does join at level 1, her MP is pretty low, and a bunch of her first magic attacks aren't actually all that strong. And also the staves for increasing magic attack. There are a bunch of different weapon types, but only one that increases int, which is the staff. Well, generic weapon types. And although I said that we have 3 new party members, we actually started with an extra party member. We actually started with 5 party members, including Moko, at the beginning of the game. because there's a 6th party slot, which is known as the commander slot, and currently who's in that slot and has been in that slot is Sanai. And in the commander slot, you have a small passive support, 1 bomb and a 3 bomb skill, but most importantly, they get full EXP. Anyway, we're going to get a weapon out of the vending machine. Depending on where you bought the game, you can get different passcodes, and there's like 10 different weapons that you can get. And we only need one of them, which is a pen that we'll equip onto McCall. So something to notice is that that has been happening is that we'll, at a save point or when we're on the world map or whatever, the game will, Legrand will close the game and then reopen it. And that's actually physically closing the game and reopening it. There's also a soft reset, but there are reasons to do soft resets and hard resets. So there's quite a bit of RNG manipulation in this game. In particular, this screen right here, we're going to get the same encounter that we got last time. So we want to take a lot of encounters for good EXP, and that's one of the best. This one is one of the best ones in Forest of Magic, this stage.
Ah!
Ooh. Oh gosh. This is a really bad encounter to get.
Especially with the strat that I'm going, you get to kind of turn away once or twice.
Yeah.
Run. Okay. Good job.
It's really hard to do this in this game, and a few rooms are actually very deceptively hard. But yeah, like, one of the most interesting thing about this game isn't so much the menus and stuff, because that's more interesting in the routing part, but the speedrunning wise, dodging encounters is absolutely incredibly cool. And I keep failing. I'm going to stop talking because that seems to not work.
Let me continue on with the commentary then. Anyway, we're going to have a boss coming up pretty soon. Going to be another 2 screens from now. And the boss of the area, Alice, she'll put up dolls that have 2 different formations with each with different effects. And while she has those dolls up, they're heavily increased, or her defense is heavily increased. And she will start each turn putting up a doll formation. If there aren't any dolls. However, Aya has this. We said how good illusionary dominance was from Aya, and Aya lets everyone go first, so we can actually get an attack in before that. And also, what we're going to do is we're going to reset the game again to have RNG manipulation, and we're going to throw out all of our strongest attacks that we have on the first turn. And what ends up happening, and the funny thing is because we have Patchouli in our party giving us just the right turn order, McCall is going to get a crit, and she's already our strongest attacker at 851 damage, and that's just barely enough damage to just kill Alice in 1 turn by manipulating a crit. So that's supposed to be a very defensive boss, and we just killed it in 1 turn. Okay.
So, about the manipulation, we actually did this at the beginning too. You'll have noticed that we got the Might Staff. That was all from RNG manipulation.
Yeah, a lot of drops you can get from RNG manipulation. Also, you got a dagger drop, I noticed, which isn't in the room.
Not supposed to be there.
If you also picked up the practice dagger, then we're just gonna have an extra dagger hanging around. But yeah, you can't actually drop any of your equipment. Anyway, I did a little thing about formations, and before we had that X formation that in our party, and now we have a different kind of formation. This formation is called Gensokyo's Fastest, which is just a high speed formation, and there's sort of a small defense bonus to it. And high speed, it does mean that we can run away better, but I think in this case it's used so that we can get attacks in before the enemies get a turn.
I'm going to reset this room.
Completely reset
That was.
the room.
Oh gosh.
Oh no!
It's fine.
Is that gonna screw
Yeah,
up your...
one run is fine.
Yeah, I
One
need
run
to
is fine.
dodge it because I'm stupid like that, and I like to dodge on my
Oh
encounters.
gosh.
Oh no!
Oh,
no. The feet! The feet!
Ooh!
Oh,
That's a sick dodge.
the legend. Yeah, Legrand is the best dodger in all of the Genius of Sappherios.
Craze is sick and very, very close. He does dodges that I can't do. But I do most others better, I think.
Yeah, the other formation we had, that sort of X formation, is called Hinotori Skydance. The two positions in the back have extra magic, the two positions in the front have extra attack, and then the one in the middle has extra defense and also a 75% chance to be targeted. Too strong to skin. Was that
Okay.
just RNG manipulation? Yeah.
That drops a
The
crowbar.
reason why we were so worried is because we really wanted to make sure that we got that crowbar drop, and if we got an extra encounter, the RNG would be advancing to a place that we didn't want. Mostly, we just wanted to be able to keep everything in place to get that crowbar drop.
If I don't drop it, then I have to reset the whole stage. Because I need it. Because I need to punch crows really hard. And crows are really good up against crows. I'm sure you didn't know that.
That's exactly how it works.
And so there is this glitch that we have been doing with illusionary dominance with Aya, and that you can actually select illusionary dominance with Aya, and then cancel that and have her wait instead of using the skill, and you're still going to get the same effect of using it. You're just not going to consume the MP or the bomb. You're not getting any extra action out of it, but it's still nice to not have to consume that. It's not as strong as it might sound because illusionary dominance is like what Aya does. So there's not much else she's going to be doing with her MP. But you know, for what little animation there is with these quote-unquote animations turned off, it still saves time.
It actually
Anyway.
is kind of important, though, because having that extra action could change the RNG completely.
Yeah, that is another thing, is that depending on whether or not you use it, does change the RNG that you get. So, one of the things that we're looking to get with fighting the enemies here is Patchouli to, I believe, level 5? To have her learn Royal Flare. Do you remember the exact
It was level 4.
level
That
4?
was a first stage. We've got right up there right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, also we want to make sure that we get power levels for our growths. or
Yeah,
key
that's the
levels,
main
as it
thing.
is.
Right now, I think the main thing that we're looking for is getting levels for Sane, actually.
Yeah, we're just getting EXP to carry over to the next stage. And we're using the MP that we have at the moment to fight stuff, so that we don't have to fight. So that, when we're in the next stage, we can also plan a full MP bar, so to speak. To be able
This
to
is risky.
I said
Okay.
before. Wait, no. The lance was okay.
Yeah, the lance is okay, not the shield.
That was a shield. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I saved before, so
I'll explain that later.
No, you go ahead and explain it now.
Okay, so later on, there is a drop that you have to manipulate called the Quick Blade. And it comes from an enemy called the Nekomata. And that enemy comes with a Helmendoza. And if you already have the enchanted shield, the Helmendoza is what drops it, then you will not get the Quick Blade. So he saw an item drop, he panicked.
yeah. I closed the game way too fast because Alt F4 is really close by. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I just got the item. Which said, wait, that's not the item that I have to expect. Oops.
That's why you opened the menu and then closed it just before you went into that room.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't have like your RNG all the way manipulated in an unexpected spot.
Still going to kill this.
Okay. That was spooky twice. Dang.
Not finding that. I don't have the resources anymore.
Yeah, no more bombs on McCall.
Basically.
Yeah, the next boss coming up is Utsuho and Ori. Utsuho, also known as Oku.
It's a crow.
She's basically, bro. All birds are the same.
A nuclear crow. Yee. So here's the safe spot where we're gonna fight the boss. I don't really have too much to talk about in the fight. We just do a lot of damage and beat them quickly. That's just kind of how you can do the fight. One fun thing to note is that if one of your characters are dead, Orin will use a skill to revive them and then gain control of them. And we're intentionally going to have... And Aya is going to die, and then Orin is going to do that. It means that that's all Orin is going to be doing. One of my older strategies had Aya get repeatedly revived and then kill her over and over. Yeah, the zombie fairy.
And that's the fight.
Yep, fight. We made sure to get the damage just right so that we kill both of them in the same attack to save like 5 seconds. But yeah, now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our save and we're going to close the game, open up the save, and then we're going to reset the game again. So we're going to do a hard reset and a soft reset. So the reason why we want to do a soft reset, right now we're just doing a bunch of menuing to equip skills, putting stuff in our growths, increasing turns on Sanai, I presume. Anyway.
Speed Sanai.
Oh, speed. That's right, speed. But yeah, close the game, reset. So each screen has sort of its own list of encounters, and the list that it chooses from is based off of like we've dubbed as like the encounter RNG or eRNG. And whenever you soft reset the game, it advances by 1. So what we're looking for is we want to get this fight in particular to get the Quick Blade drop. And yeah, and we have the entire game routed out to get the encounters that we want, so long as we're intentionally running into them. Yeah, this is also an intentional fight to get a good staff. Magic booster. It boosts your magic.
Boost your mystic, specifically.
Mystic. It's true.
And big shout outs to PPJ here, because he's the one who did most of the mapping of encounters, and there's like, I don't know, a billion lines of Excel somewhere that shows them.
Yeah.
And I've been slowly adding to it.
You're slowly adding to that giant text file. But yeah, I used to have 5 resets for this because there was a really good encounter on 5 resets. The routing has changed.
Yep. Originally,
but
the game was, and it was like 4 hours long, and now it's 3 hours long. Because a lot of rerouting has been done, and we go much faster now.
Yeah, so the important thing with the Quick Blade is that it is a weapon that increases your speed, which is very unique. Out of pretty much all of the weapons in the game, I think Quick Blade is the only one that explicitly increases your speed.
It is.
Yeah. And another thing is that if you have a dagger equipped, you can put points, you can put growth points into dagger, and it increases... It says that it increases your attack speed, but it's just straight up your speed in a fight. So we're equipping that dagger to Sanae, and she's going to be the one to take the role of running away if we need it. Is it also relevant that she gets the action in for buff reasons? I don't know. But it is a thing that we want to make sure that our buffs go off before everything else in the turn. So there's a bunch of speed manipulation. But yeah,
That's a Gorgon reference? Sorry. It's totally a JoJo reference.
Yeah, we took Aya of the party because we don't really need EXP with her. We also need Sanae to get EXP. I think it's level 10, just so she has just enough HP to survive the next boss. But we also want to start leveling up another character, Nitori, for the boss of the stage after this one.
Oh, that fight right there is why you need Wind of Prayers to be faster.
Okay. Yeah, Sanaya is... To explain her, she uses full party buffs. She also has healing skills, which are pretty nice, but we, for the most part, don't need to use healing skills in the run.
Just once, I think. No, because Omikuji, I forgot about that one.
Like 3 or 4 times we used healings with Sanae.
Yeah, and she technically also has physical attacks for the very beginning of the game, but we never use them. They're just not good. Another mechanic that we haven't explained yet is Last Word. Whenever a character takes an action, there's a chance that they charge their last word. The actual mechanics on how that happens is really complicated. Maybe ZF will go into that later. But each character has their own last word skill. Sometimes it's just a big attack, and sometimes it's a unique effect. In the case of Sanae, it's just a really strong buff. It's a buff to all stats and the buff is stronger than any of her normal buffs that she has. So the boss that we're just about to fight, Satori, we're going to start off the boss fight with the exact same RNs that we used against Alice, but it doesn't quite kill Satori. But on the second turn, or on that first turn, Sanaya is going to get hit, and that's going to charge her last word. And we'll use it and get a bunch of damage in. There's other things that Satori does in this fight, like she has her own unique mechanics and gimmicks, and we'll beat her before any of that comes up.
The exact turn it comes up, actually. but you don't get to see it, unfortunately. Or fortunately.
So Petrol is punching right now. She's the one doing like half of the damage.
She's showing off her strength by beating Satori with a crowbar.
And she's got some really cute animations when she uses normal attacks with it too.
Yeah. A little quick question there in chat. You can in fact use RNG manipulation for Satori learning. But in any case, we're going on to the next stage. Well, it is possible to use RNG manipulation for Satori, but we're not going to have any skill.
Yeah.
Anyways, so for the next stage, we're going to switch Sanaya out for Sakuya. And Sakuya can also equip daggers, and this is a time that we can use to get EXP on Sakuya. We still need to get EXP on Nitori, and she's in the commander slot. We specifically need level 9 for her by the time that we fight the boss. And Sakuya is... Sakuya is in the front party, so I'll explain her a little bit, but she's not really going to be doing a whole lot until a good bit later. But she's a physical fighter that primarily uses multi-hits. Yeah, we're equipping a quick blade on her so that she's going to be the best one to run away with. She has some time stop stuff as well. Some unique time stop stuff. Some she has some insta-kill stuff. And she's got an interesting, unique weapon, but I'll explain that when that comes up later. The one thing I do want to explain by now at this point is the equipment. Haven't even explained anything about the equipment, and we're like, what, 30 minutes in? Yeah, we have the weapon, shield, armor, and 3 accessories that we can equip. So each character can only equip 4 different kinds of weapons. One of them is their unique weapon type, and then we have, and then each character can equip 3 other generic types. So one I know off the bat is McCall, who can equip spears, axes, and Swords. Yeah, swords. Those are like the main 3 physical generic weapons, but there's also knives and stabs. And I think that's actually it for the generic weapons.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. This is pretty cool because you get to do tons of cool dodges, and most of the time it's actually doable, but also pretty hard. Hope you guys are enjoying the dodges, by the way. We're not talking much about them because it's just kind of generic gameplay, but it's really, really hard.
In this game. There's so many mechanics in this game, but yeah, the dodges. Yeah, the enemies can only move like up, down, left, or right. But you can move diagonally. But the way that the enemies decide on whether or not they move like down or up, down, or left, right is actually random. And it's seeded in a much more complicated way than any of the other RNG in the game, so you can't do any kind of manipulation on how the enemies move. So yeah, there's a bunch of dodges. As Legrand said earlier, there's a lot of skill when it comes into dodges, and if you don't get a dodge, and you want to be on RNG manipulation, you have to work around it.
Worth noting that it's like always worth dodging stuff that you don't want to fight, because stuff can just kill you in this game. If you just get to cannot run away prompt, you can just die.
Yep.
More about the way the enemies works, though, is I'm pretty sure it's based on in-game time.
It is. It is
Oh
based
my
off of the
God.
in-game second. Which is why I said it's seated on something that actually matters. That is done in a way instead of just being set to 0 at the very beginning. But yeah, going on with the equipment, there's also armor in the game, which has armor. Each armor has like an extra passive effect, but is otherwise, just straight up defense. One thing to note with both weapons and armor is that they slightly decrease your speed, and like the heavier or the stronger armor that you have, the more it weighs you down. And normally in a casual playthrough, you don't care about it that much, but in the speed run, we'll intentionally have one of our characters not wear any armor at all, just so that they can have more speed. Another thing to note about the equipment I haven't said is that every single piece of equipment in the game is unique. You cannot have a second copy of anything, and there's no money in the game, so there's no shop to buy any equipment from. So all the equipment you have to either get from chests, or there's also this item crafting thing. I'll explain that later. Another piece of equipment is, you know what? We'll keep the equipment thing later. We have a boss. We have more stuff to explain.
Well, for now, the boss is not yet, because we need to get Midori to level 9, so that's what we're doing right now. We're also manipulating a bunch of drops that we'll need much later on.
Yeah, I kind of want to explain why we need Nitori at level 9. So Nitori is a physical character with some additional elements with her attacks, mostly fire, ice, and electric. One of her most unique things is that she has these chaser skills, and the first chaser skill she gets, Freeze Chaser, is level 9, and that's what we're after. So we're going to use Freeze Chaser and some ice attacks. So Yuko, the next boss, has a lot of magic defense and a lot of evasion. Magic attacks always hit. But our magic attacks aren't going to do any damage. But because Nitori is going to chase, it's always going to hit. Plus Yuko is weak to each of the elements. So that's why we need Nitori. Another mechanic that hasn't shown up until now is the fact that skills have cooldowns. So we can't actually use the chaser every turn, or Nitori's chaser every turn. We can only use it every other turn. Normally it has a cooldown of every third turn, or a cooldown of 2, but we're going to put points into Nitori's growth to decrease it down to every other turn, so a cooldown of 1. So yeah, our next boss coming up, Yuko and Yomu. They're both weak to every element, and we're actually going to have this unique formation just for this fight. As to Search System and error in the chat, this is one of the oldest strategies in the game, or in the speedrun, that still is in. The fact that, so this formation is so that our defensive position's at the very front, and Yomu will always attack in the front. We'll do her attacks in the front. Another gimmick about this fight is that when Yuko dies, she will counterattack with instant death on your entire party. So you need to figure out some way to deal with that. It is possible to get like instant death resistance. There's a barrier thing that you can use to get rid of it, but the chaser itself counts as a sort of counter attack itself, so it overwrites the instant death counter attack. So Yuko is just going to die, and nothing. It looks like it was just a normal death, rather than the fact that she has any kind of attack that will kill you when she dies.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh, you gotta cry.
I can't believe it. I don't know why. Sometimes my game just glitches after bosses, and I can't do anything anymore. And it just happens. So we get to see it again.
So I guess I can go back to explaining some of the equipment. So shields in this game don't actually strictly increase your defense. The shields need to actually proc being used to actually get the effect out of them. You do get a pretty good defense bonus, but each shield has an evasion stat, and that evasion stat is the chance that the shield will be used. So we don't actually use shields a whole lot. You could say it's for consistency, but even though we have RNG manipulation, consistency isn't too much of an issue, but also shields just aren't good enough to be worth it. Like, we're already skimping out on armor. So we're also going to be skimping out on shields. Don't crash.
It's fine.
Okay. I'm going to do a quick party swap here. I'm going to put Aya back in the party because illusionary dominance is pretty good. We want some of the turn manipulation. I think this is also when you get Tengu support, which is a single target version. And we will use that over illusionary dominance for reasons sometimes. But the first encounter that we get in here is pretty important. And because one of the enemies in the encounter has a staff that we really, really want, called the Bardiche. And in this encounter, we're also going to manipulate another weapon drop, which is just kind of convenient. Just called the Ancient Sword. It's more or less just a good sword. There's another effect that it has that comes up later, but for now, it's just a good sword that we get, that we don't have to pick up, because we just get it here. Normally you would think the Bardiche as being an axe, but it's actually a Namaha reference off of a staff that is shaped like an axe. So that's why it's a staff. So going back to the equipment, there's 3 accessory slots that each character has, and accessories are more or less fall under 3 categories. Stat increases, elemental resistances, and status resistances. But because there is only one, because all equipment is unique, any accessory that you do get for like status resistance can only be put on one character. And at the very beginning in Forest of Magic, you can get all of these status resistant accessories. Also, this encounter has really high experience for some reason. This one enemy here. I think it's an R1.
It also gives a lot of power, which is the main thing.
Potentially, because sometimes it can give nothing, because power is completely RNG, like EXP is very much fixed.
Yeah. And we don't have the RNG manipulation down to the point where we can manipulate the amount of power that we get off of the enemies. But yeah, the amount of power of the P that we get off of enemies is random, and it's also kind of based off of like your current level in some way. And it's not just a strict increase or decrease. There's an actual bunch of randomness associated with it, and we don't it's too chaotic for us to have full control.
Dodges are really hard, by the way. Like it's nothing, but
these dodges.
Yeah, that last room in particular was not the easiest.
Yeah, I don't know why I managed to do that room really, really well now. It just, even though it's super hard, I wasn't supposed to use that in later on, but it seems good. Well, no, I got a bomb here, so it's fine. Okay, so I can die on this encounter if this build doesn't behave. That's fine. So the build monsters have a reaction bomb that they can use, and that usually they use that on the back row, and that kills off all the back row because no one has a lot of HP in my party, or even just overall in this game. You just get 2-shot by stuff, and it's just almost stuff.
Yeah, bomb is a counter attack it uses when it's hit by a fire type attack. And since Marissa's the one that hits it, it counters against Marissa, so it hits the back row.
Ah, okay. That makes more sense. So I don't know much about this game, but these two have like the brains, and I just have the... I'm just a monkey that knows how to execute dodges.
I actually have more stuff written out. It's just this stage is long enough that I can give you some times to talk. A little bit of time here to talk. Yeah. So character we got after beating Netherworld.
Oh wait, I need to take an encounter.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
That's the thing too, is that like anytime I can do a dodge, I'm going to do it, whether I have to do it or if it's like impossible. That's also kind of a problem that I have with this game, but yeah. It's just so cool to do dodges in this game.
Yeah, we got a new character, Yomu, and she's currently in our commander slot. I think she only shows up against bosses.
Oh,
or
she does.
Practically only shows up against bosses. Oh, she does? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she only shows up against bosses, so I can't really explain her without it being in a boss. But yeah, she's a physical fighter with high stats all around and very strong attacks. And her main mechanic is that she uses these stances. And she needs to set up a stance to use pretty much any of her skills. All of her damage skills need a stance. And that just uses up her first turn. So against like these random encounters, she doesn't do much because the encounter is already over on the first turn. And she would just have to set up a stance. She has 3 different stances. It's called Minutia, Devaloka, and Masura. We're just going to be using the Minutia one because, well, the 3 stances. The Minutia one is the crit one. Asura is attack, and then Devaloka is defense. We're going to be using the crit one because it has the strongest single target attacks. Not necessarily, like, the fact that we can get crits with it using RNG manipulation is one thing, but it is mostly that it has a lot of single target, high single target damage compared to Asura, which has lots of AoE, or high AoE damage. One more mechanic is that I've still yet to explain, is that there's this land element mechanic, where whenever you use an elemental skill, that part of the land will get stronger, and the stronger a land is, the more that element is stronger, and the weaker the opposite element is. So if you use a bunch of fire attacks, in the same fight, or if a bunch of fire attacks are used in the same fight, then water element will be weaker. In this case, our next boss, Komachi, coming up right here, she is dark element and weak to light. So by doing a whole bunch
getting
of
the
light
double
attacks,
scarab encounter?
Oh, right. Again, too busy with dodges.
there's a really good encounter around here.
Reimu Moko, Aya, Marissa, Patchouli, Yomu. Oh, okay.
Got my notes.
This one, we want this. It's 600 EXP. Which is a lot.
And potentially my power too, because I think I'm down to 1 power from what I usually have. Yeah. Usually, like, you never get all the dodges in this room. So
Yeah,
that's why I
this
never
room
bother.
is extremely difficult to get dodges in.
I think it's the first time ever I dodged everything on that room. Which is too hard. Anyway, back to my menu.
Yeah, the short of it is that by using a whole bunch of light attacks, the dark attacks from Komachi do get weaker. One thing I find really annoying about Komachi is that her strongest attack isn't fully predictable. So while there is a way that you can use Nitori to nullify an attack, Nitori's commander skill, 3-bomb commander skill to nullify an attack for 1 turn. If you know when the attack, which is called Money from Yesterday, if you know when it's going to come out, you can deal with it. But if you don't, you can just get killed, and it sucks.
That was the first fight where we really wanted RNG Mandate actually back in the days.
Yeah, that was the fight where I was like, this is the fight where I was like, I really want RNG Mandate.
So actually this game was routed without RNG Mandate at first, and it was 8 hours long or something. And now there's a JP runner managed to get it within like 4 hours, 3 I think, which is insane.
Yeah, this hyper camouflage, camouflage. That's Nitori's 3-alarm commander skill, which nullifies an attack, 1 attack for the whole party for 1 turn. You can really only use it twice in a fight, because Nitori can really only get up to 6 bombs. And there's also some cooldown associated with it. Yeah, we just do a damage. She's not that hard to beat, so long as the strong attacks don't come out. We can just throw out light attacks. Patchouli has Royal Flare, which is light. Oh yeah, also weak to Earth. But the thing is, Marisa doesn't have Earth, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, and the lack of an Earth Chaser.
True.
So after going through Hell's Netherworld and the stuff, we're now going to the Flower Garden.
I'm sad I'm not actually listening to the game.
I'm so glad I'm not listening to the audio.
It's the best song!
It is the best song.
It is absolutely terrible.
How can you not like this song?
How can you like it?
It's just so trolly, it just fits.
Gone through Hell, gone through the Underworld, gone through the River Styx, now we're going to the Sunflower Garden.
And it's actually a very scary place.
Oh,
Yeah,
correction, you do actually use Yomu against, like, 3 different random fights.
Yeah, I didn't remember. No. But yeah, sort of this little gimmick of the area is that there are these red and blue geysers. You turn yourself red or blue, and that works for a few screens, and if you're red, you can get rid of the red sunflowers in your way, which we did there. If you're blue, you can get rid of the blue ones in the way. Like a maybe minute or two if you want to get something in.
Yeah,
No,
the
I can
problem.
continue. Go ahead.
The thing with this place too is that the color only lasts for a couple of screens, and you basically have to wrap around the whole place a bunch of times in order to clear it. So it's really confusing and really annoying to go through. And if you die midway through, then it's trouble. Or if you go back screens and stuff.
Yeah, it lasts four screens, and then once you take the 5th screen transition, it's gone.
And the thing is, there is one place where you have to keep the color for 4 screens, so you have to know where you're going.
Yep.
This place is absolutely terrible. It's really, like, super hard.
I like it. You get lost when you first play it, for sure. But yeah. So, another mechanic I have yet to explain. There's sort of 2 mechanics I do kind of want to explain, but the more important one is the Slayer mechanic. Some weapons have Slayer effects.
Yeah, she's a little bit of damage off.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, some weapons have Slayer effects, which is a damage multiplier against the enemy type that Slayer has. So, for example, there is a beast type that we can, and some weapons will have the beast Slayer effect. The one that's most important is
that's a death.
I think so, yeah.
Rip. Rip.
Yeah, I want to do.
Did you get the cockatrice crest?
No.
No.
Oh, so I guess technically you could just get the... Wait, did you pause at any point?
No.
Okay, because I was thinking you could do the manipulation again, just to...
It takes forever. And I'm just going to do the backup.
I just wasn't sure if you did the... If you paused at any point after the first battle.
Yeah, but I game over, so it saves when you game over, so just...
Oh,
And
right,
I
you kept the
did
game
save.
over.
I actually did the menu because I know that this range is absolutely atrocious, and I most of the time, like 95% miss it. So I put in some extra intelligence on Basho. Apparently that was still not enough. But yeah, this place is terrible. Case in point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
there's
place
a-
tripped me up a lot because that lever right there actually takes account off
Wait.
of your
Wait, it does?
screen
Oh my
counter.
God.
Yes, it
So
does.
if you run into that and then flip the lever and then start going on the path, then you're going to be 1 screen off, and that threw me off for a very long time.
Oh my God, I hate this
It's
place even
true.
more.
You need to hit the lever first. So you... Yeah, Slayer effects. We currently have a weapon called the Imitation Slayer, which has a Slayer effect against Tsukumogami enemies, which provides double damage against Medicine, and the next boss fight we have Yuka and Medicine. And we also, the crowbar that we got earlier also has a Tsukumogami Slayer effect that does 1.75 times damage. So the Slayer effects is actually based off of the weapon, or the Slayer strength is based off of the weapon itself.
Okay, maybe. Oh.
One more mechanic is that there's skills called field skills in the game, where during a fight you can have one... Get him! Get him!
Always gotta go with the
sure,
Stardust Missile. Or Cold
Yeah.
Inferno. Whatever works.
I thought I would not miss.
Anyways, during each fight, there can only be one field skill active, which lasts for a certain amount of turns depending on the skill. And Patchouli has these elemental field skills, which provides a damage multiplier bonus on attacks with that element, and it also weakens the opposite element. So we actually used one of them earlier, but on this one we'll be using Heaven's Crack, which is the electric field skill. So our electric attacks are going to be stronger, and the earth attacks are going to be weaker. And it also increases the land strength. And another thing with the land strength is that some equipment has elemental regeneration attached to it, including the Bardiche that Patchouli has equipped, or maybe will equip. I don't know if she has equipped now. Yeah, she has it equipped. And it's electric. So Patchouli would normally die in this next fight if she didn't heal, but because she has the Bardiche equipped, she'll regenerate HP. Okay, you got the...
Yeah.
That's your backup for the Cockatrice Crest. Okay.
You're supposed to get it first try, but when I did it, it always takes me 2 fights, and I don't understand why. There's probably something weird going on, but since it's backup, I never really bothered looking into why this happened.
Actually, I should catch the VOD to see if I can figure that out.
But yeah, another field skill that you could use for this fight is that Sanaya has a field skill with her snake that nullifies poison, which we won't be using. We can instead use a resistance buff, and it's not totally consistent if you don't have RNG manipulation.
Yeah, the intended strategy is really just to use that skill with Sane.
Yeah, in this fight, the thing you have to concern yourself with is on the very first turn they throw out some AoE attacks. So, combined with the damage reduction from Heaven's Crack and the fact that we're going to use Nitori's 3 bomb to nullify the first one, we can survive this first turn. And then Patchouli is going to regenerate her HP. And that's how we can survive the very first. And because we have manipulation, Sanaya is going to get her all-staff buff off, so we can get more damage in. And we're also going to have Sanaya use a res buff in this fight.
Yeah, it was at the start.
Yeah, okay, it was the first turn. But yeah, resistance is a stat in this game, which is basically status defense, and the combination of the resistance buff and canceling the first poison attack. Oh, that's sad.
I'm really low on power. Okay, that's going to make a glitchy animation, I think.
No,
Wait, no, because it's not poison. Curious. Yeah. I'm short on damage. This is supposed to be a double kill, obviously.
Yeah, if you can't tell, we were supposed to beat the both of them in one hit. But we were 1 digit of HP short. But yeah, we're going to go into stage 9, Ante, our Ante. We need to split our party into 2, because there's an A and B route in this area. We don't really care much about the second party, because we can just dodge everything, and there's practically no encounters on the way.
Also, because I've got a button to swap, I can basically bomb out of my dodge if I fail. So this is really the Danmaku now.
Yeah, so we're switching back between parties if we think we're going to run into something, because when you switch, it resets the enemy symbol position. So, a character that's going to show up in the next pair of boss fights. Well, she's not going to show up in both of them. But yeah, the next boss fight you actually have to do split as well, because it's 2 bosses split between 2 different parties. And an important character that we're currently getting EXP on right now, she's our commander, is Alice. Alice is a very heavy physical tank that pretty much exclusively has skills that protect or reduce damage to the party, and has pretty much no damage output. There's like one skill that she has that is like technically supposed to be for damage, and I never used it because I never...
Why would you use your tank to deal damage? That's not their job.
The interesting thing about Alice is that her skills, like the strength of her defense, a lot of her defense skills is based off of the strength of the shield that she has equipped, and also with guarding and with some of her growths, she can increase the chance of her shield proccing all the way up to 100% pretty easily. So getting good shields in this game is good for Alice for the most part, and the other characters it's not as important. So you can pretty much think of shields as being Alice's weapon, even though it doesn't do damage. That's what you really care about on Alice, is her shield. Another minute to talk whatever you want.
Bunnies!
Bunnies!
It's my participation. So there's a bunch of items that we're actually going to pick up here. Mostly just stat buff for speed and I think magic? No, launch. So induction, which will come up later on.
Yep, I've got induction already in my notes later.
Also got the bracelet of insight.
Oh yeah, yes. There's a
Just
bunch
Some
of
magic attack.
cool stuff here.
A bunch of the... Yeah, well, I think all of the tier 2 stat-ups are in outer Aente. I could be wrong.
I think so.
Yeah, plus 20 to a single stat is pretty nice.
Is
Yeah, here we're going back to the second side. We went all the way to the end with the first side. We got to the save point. We basically treated the right side as its own separate stage, and then this is just, we're gonna walk.
There's a little bit of a puzzle here, but it's a little glitchy.
It's not glitchy.
Oh, were you supposed to go up there? I don't think so.
Well, every path leads to a different path, so...
Yeah. Anyway, the more you progress in the game, the more crafting recipes you can get by talking to Aku. So we also got spare parts there, which was that little treasure chest icon thing. And this lets us craft equipment. Like, there's also the items that have the beaker icon are also crafting materials. So what we're going to do is we're going to make 2 character-specific weapons, the Arendite and the Carbine for Sakuya and Nitori specifically. And the reason why we get them is because they have really good Slayer effects. So Sakuya, the Arendite, I know it has Plant, Beast, and I forgot the third one, but we care about Beast because bunnies are beasts. And then Nitori has a Slayer effect against magicians and warriors, which is actually a very rare Slayer effect to get, and it's pretty much only available off of Nitori's unique equipment. And the thing with the unique equipment is, except for the very first tier, which is the equipment that they come with, all of the character-specific equipment you have to craft. You can't just get it in a drop or find it in a chest. You have to craft it. One thing to note with Sakuya's two-handed sword, yes, normally in Touhou fandom, Sakuya's signature weapon is a knife, but knives are not very strong, so now she has a giant weapon like claymores and such. But yeah, one thing to note about those two-handed swords is that they have some of the strongest Slayer effects in the game. So we're going to have a 2.25 times damage increase against beasts. Also, the ancient sword that we picked up, that we got on the drop alongside the Bardiche, also has a Beast Slayer, which isn't relevant here.
That menu was pretty big because, well, I have to set up the full party of 11 people, which takes quite a bit.
And it's all, the menuing there also goes later into some of the other areas, so it's just a big menu chunk. Yeah, we're gonna fight two bosses. So, first one we're gonna fight is Satori, and gimmick is that she has some attacks that have very high damage but very low accuracy, and will eventually try to put your characters to sleep. That attack right there, that was a light attack. She also has light attacks. Yeah, on this next turn, I believe we're gonna get a full miss, and that's normally how the fight goes anyway. There's, yeah, this ancient duper. It's normally, that's normal. So what Terry will try to do later is use Lullaby to try and put your characters to sleep, so that she can then hit them with that attack and pretty much kill you immediately. We're going to put a res buff up so that we have resistance to status effects, and we won't get hit by Lullaby.
Because weirdly enough, if you get put to sleep, you can't dodge.
Yep. Not too much else to explain here. Yeah, these two fights aren't too complicated. It's just the fact that you have to split your party is a thing. Also,
hello.
It's not a big deal.
Also, Yomu has a hammer equipped, and she's slashing with a hammer. She's that good of a swordswoman that she can slash with a hammer.
Yeah, your power is just very low this time.
Yeah, I don't know. I even put more power in Spirit Magic.
Alright, so we're having a completely different party that we need to use to beat Grayson. Fight itself isn't too complicated, but the main thing to watch out for is the fact that she has a berserk effect on her main attack. And we use something very specific to deal with it, the barrier, and I'm not going to explain it yet, because right after this fight there's a whole ton of stuff to explain. And the barrier stuff is it's kind of complicated. Get some damage in. Yeah, Sakuya is actually at a really low level, but she is, I think, actually the best damage dealer in this fight.
She is.
Just because of the Slayer, the Slayer effect.
She'd be the best. She'd be even better if she got her last word. That fight would be like 2 or 3 turns. 3 turns because, getting the last word, you have to use it on the second turn.
Yeah, my old route basically had Sakuya and Alice alone do the fight. Nice glitchy characters. Anyway, we have stuff to explain. So one thing that's in this game are yukuris, which are basically metal slimes. They did exist earlier, and we could have fought them, but they actually get very low power. Even though they have a lot of high EXP, they act very much like Dragon Quest metal slimes. But yep, we need the RNG manipulation.
I hope you guys don't hear the drilling
The guitar riff.
from my neighbor. I should have RTX, so it shouldn't be a problem, but...
Anyways, you get a lot of EXP from them, but the EXP isn't adjusted, which actually works against us. So it's not a huge EXP bonus to fight the Yukuris, but in this case, it's still significant enough. This is the first place that the Yukuri sisters appear, which is kind of like the tier 2 version. And we really need that EXP, and we're also going to get the accessory drop from them called the Yukuri medal.
Oh my...
Man, this in-game time for the enemy locations is...
No, I just mess up 3 times. It's doable. All the dodges are doable. I'm just messing up because...
Oh, I know they're
low
doable.
reaction
It's just
time and stuff.
that last one being so close to the end loading zone is not common.
Oh yeah. That was doing the job. I just bonked.
Yeah.
Okay, we got into
Okay, that's better.
Now we're good. Still want to try and dodge. But, here's the Yukuris. And we're also going to get the Yukuri medal drop, which is plus 10 EXP on whoever has it equipped. We did a lot of Yukuri statement. Take it easy.
Okay.
We did a lot of routing to actually make use out of that plus 10%. Yeah, it's actually a very rare drop, and
2%.
Rare drop off of what would you say?
It is a 2% drop.
2% drop. There you go.
On a very rare encounter too. That is also really hard to kill because it can run away, and it usually runs away like middle slimes.
That was all you, ZF. But yeah, the reason why we really needed to fight it is so that we could get Nitori to level 10 and Satori
20.
Nitori to level 20 and Satori to level 10. And the reason why we need Nitori at level 20 is because that's when she learns a skill called Purgatory Impale. It's a large row AoE skill that has physical attack with added fire damage. And we're going to actually do a really funny trick with that by enchanting Nitori's physical attacks with fire before we use it. So it ends up turning into a fire attack with added fire damage. So we're going to combine that with Pachuli's field skill called Hotspot Volcano, which boosts fire attacks. And because the Hotspot Volcanoes sees that it has fire and fire damage, it boosts that attack twice. Another thing is that this next boss, Kaguya and Aiden, are considered magician and warriors, respectively, and Nitori's Carbine has the Slayer effect, which is another 1.75 times damage. And if we want to go through all of the buffs, we have an attack bonus from the formation, and we're going to have 2 more actual attack buffs in the fight. We haven't actually talked about Satori, and we don't have much time, and she's also the least used character. She's a blue mage, and we won't actually have her learn any enemy skills. She also has AoE debuffs, which are not good, and AoE status effects, which are not good. But she does have Berserk, and her last word is Mind Control.
But hold on, why would it work on bosses? That sounds like very stupid, right?
Well, it works on Kaguya. Kaguya can be hit by mind status ailments.
Yeah, they even give you a hint before the fight.
So yeah, we berserk her. Get
This
our
fight-
last word on Satori.
This fight without it is just absolutely impossible. It just...
Yeah, this fight is crazy hard, casually, but we do this this trick, the double elemental boost, gives massive attack bonus on Nitori.
Look at the damage. Boom.
Boom. And because Kaguya is mind controlled, she would normally try to heal or use buffs, but because we have her controlled, we can have her buff us. And so, yeah.
And also Satori is protected from it.
They both have, I think, 10k HP, so 2 Purgatory Impales will do it. Another really funny thing you can do is while she's mind controlled, you can try and run away from the fight, and there's a chance that Kaguya herself will also run away, and it makes the fight kind of buggy.
It's guaranteed.
Oh, it is guaranteed?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was only a chance.
Nope.
Okay.
Boom.
Boom. 7k. That was a crit. But yeah, getting Satori to level 10 was just enough levels to get her, for her to... Did she need to survive? Anyway, it's like to get last word.
I think it was for just a little bit of extra dexterity and induction.
Yeah. And yeah, induction is a stat that is something we should explain by now. It's pretty much just status effect, or status attack. It powers up, and it also powers up buffs and debuffs. So it's kind of like a counterpart to resistance, just status defense. So yeah, you have physical attack, physical defense, magic attack, magic defense, status attack, status defense.
No, that's one character.
And speaking of buffs and debuffs, we just got Byakuren in the party. This is where she joins. Where are we at? We're at a time. Normally,
we're at 124.
124. Your record is here at. I'm not going to remind people. Anyway, Byakuren is actually really good. So, Byakuren has buffs and debuffs, light and dark magic, and some status effect skills. We don't care about the light and dark magic, and she also has like these dealing skills as well. She's got a bunch of weird skills, but mostly we just want the buffs and debuffs. And while Sanaya also has buffs, well, mostly we want the buffs. The debuffs are also nice, but we mostly want Byakuren's buffs. And Sanaya also has buffs, but they're AoE buffs, which are weaker than Byakuren's single target buffs. So,
I'm just going to reset that.
RNG.
Yeah.
I need too many yarns.
It's just really good power and iron drops.
And considering I'm low on power already, not going to risk it too much.
And we want to keep the RNG manipulation if possible.
I didn't
you could go
reset.
it, but...
I didn't reset in my record because I had that same issue. My record was godlike until here, where I got an extra encounter and then like lost like 2 minutes because of that.
I think it was more than 2 minutes. It was. You said it was like close to 5 minutes.
I can't recall, but yeah.
It was more than 2. I think maybe less than 5. It was 3 or 4.
It was painful.
Yeah. So every character in this game joins at level 1, which sounds bad, but it really isn't, because there's EXP scaling, and despite the fact that Byakuren joins at level 1, currently she's in the commander slot, getting the EXP, because EXP is scaled on how low level you are. You're getting so much more EXP from encounters by being lower level, and it's very quick to catch up. And yeah, this stage here is also just a really good spot to just get EXP, get power, get some P levels for your growths, just fight stuff, which is very convenient because this is when we get our last character of the game, last playable character of the main game. There's a... Okay.
I'm sorry about the drilling if you're hearing it.
I don't hear that one.
Okay. So then it's just me that is being bothered by it. Okay. That's a lot of power.
See those big red P.
And then there's this, which just is able to be instant death, as skeletons are.
Sakuya has instant death. Instant kill thing. Yeah, and this area uniquely has a mid-boss. There aren't really... I think this is the only required mid-boss of the game, and you could even say that it is a boss that just doesn't have a save point behind it, or a full stage. But yeah, this next mid-boss is Momiji, and normally would be a pushover compared to Eri and Kaguya, but because it's hard to keep RNG manipulation up to this point, and because we're relatively low leveled, she's actually pretty difficult to deal with. So one strategy that we're going to be using is we're going to be using Sakuya's private square with Aya's 3-bomb paparazzi. So a private square is a field skill that Sakuya has that stops time, and where Sakuya alone takes the next 2 turns. Normally, it's a very slow. It's a skill that comes out very slow, but by using Aya's 3-bomb skill, paparazzi, your entire party goes first, and because Sakuya is last in the turn order of your party, essentially you're getting a full action and then time stop happens. 2 turns, so you're skipping enemy turn.
If you didn't get it,
square.
If you didn't get it yet, Sakuya is absolutely a JoJo reference. Even in the basic materials, she's basically Dio but a girl.
Yes.
So yeah, time stop, daggers and stuff.
It's not. This alone isn't enough to take out Momiji, but it's like most of her health bar. Oh.
Yeah, it's a damage range.
It's kind of power, and it's also power dependent. You're really starving a lot for power here usually, so you most often don't have enough power to deal enough damage. But
yeah, I was looking at your record run, and you didn't have enough damage, and then you got wrecked.
Oh, that happened too. Damn.
No, that was like the first mistake in your record run. It was like perfect up to that point.
Yeah, I was really sweating because I was like, okay, so I've been playing for an hour 15. I still have like the upper half of the game to play perfectly like that, and it was just really, really rough on the brain. Because this game is super intense.
I cannot do... When I did runs in this game, I could not do 2 in a row. Like, for an RPG speedrun, it's relatively short, but it takes up so much brain power. So many things happening in a row. Anyways, we still need some more EXP. We need level 20 on Alice.
Byakurin as well.
And Byakurin, okay. Mostly just so we can have consistent RNG, I think.
It's for the last word turns.
Last word turns.
As well as Byakurin will not get Meltdown to activate if she is level 19, but she will if she's level 20.
Oh.
Even if she has the same induction.
I am really close to that power level. Where are you?
Yeah, the next boss coming up soon is Momiji and Chirno together. So they open up with an attack combo that is Chirno's Perfect Freeze and Momiji's Expellee's Kanan. Perfect Freeze is full target ice attack, which will freeze you for that turn. And then Expellee's Kanan is a full target fizz attack, which will pretty much kill anyone that it hits, but it's very inaccurate. The reason why it's a combo is because if you're frozen, it will hit. And it comes out fairly early in the turn order, so when you're playing casually, you'll see that happen and then you'll just kind of get wrecked. And you have to figure out some way to deal with it, and there's plenty of ways to deal with it. But the simplest and most effective way is to do this is to just do the same private square scam to just remove their turn. So we're going to see that right here. Gonna throw up some buffs, increase fire land elements.
Okay, because Cherno is ice fairy, she melts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're just setting up for a good fire attack. Also, Nitori gets her last word. It's a great name. It's called Atomic Kappa. But yeah, once the time stop is off, during this next attack, they'll charge up their bombs to set up that combo again, and then we'll just go first in the turn again and end up killing Cherno, because we currently have because Nitori is just strong enough to be able to take Cherno out at this point. Nitori Impale, pretty good at this point.
Oh, I guess a thing to mention about Private Square is that is another way to bypass Yuko's counter.
Oh. There's a lot of really cool things in this game. Really cool effects. We actually put up the Earth Field at this point from Patchouli. Because Luigi's weak against Earth, and Luigi has a lot of HP. And we're going to use both Nitori and Byakuren's last word. So Byakuren's last word. By the way, that's a crit.
Are you sure that's a crit?
Yeah, it has to
I
be.
was there when Craze did it. The reason we could actually get a better Fantastica if we didn't end that turn. The reason why we do end it that turn is because our EXP is still fine even with the 1.2 Fantastica, and we can only end it that turn if we get a crit from Atomic Kappa. So, and it just turns out that getting that extra turn out is faster. Yeah, Fantastica. Flying Fantastica. Byakuren's last word. So, when you use it, it increases the... Use it in a fight, it increases the EXP, power, and item drop rate in a fight anywhere from 1.1 times to 1.9 times. And it's based on RNG. We have RNG manipulation, so we kind of have control over it, but combined with the fact that last word doesn't consistently come out, it's kind of tricky to get the RNs to line up correctly. Nonetheless, we've done quite a bit to try and maximize it out. Except we found out that we didn't need to maximize it on that last one, and just getting the 1.2 times bonus is good enough. The extra power doesn't power and item drop rate only matters in random encounters, and we only use them. We only use Fantastica against bosses. This formation that we're currently using, Konpaku sword style, isn't quite the same as Gensokyo's Vastus. It looks slightly different. It still has a speed effect to it, but the front three characters have extra physical attack. So it's kind of a half speed formation that you can run easily with, and half attack formation. Okay.
I dodged so well that I had to wait for that encounter. Usually you have to dodge the last one because like it's so hard to dodge stuff.
Yeah, the dragon didn't die, so you didn't get the wisdom ring.
Well, there's a backup for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have it. Yeah, I do have it.
Okay, I don't have any complicated stuff to explain until the next boss fight, which is still a good ways away.
Still
I guess I could explain that last word thing.
Go ahead.
Okay,
your
so
best.
basically, last words have a set chance of activating, but there are ways to increase it. One is certain characters have growth trees that will double or triple the chance. And generally, it's a 1% chance for those characters. But another way is that the lower you are in health, the higher your chance of getting a last word. Which is why Sane in the Satori fight needed to be at low health. Because she would not have gotten her last word unless she was hit to below 10%, I think it is.
You're the one who knows about it. Knows about these numbers, not me. Didn't you also say there's like
Can't tell which
something
numbers I
relevant
meant.
with each 10th level when it comes to last word?
Yeah. Every 10 levels, your last word will be available for one extra turn, because after a while it disappears. If you're level 1 through 9, then you just have that one turn to use it. If you're level 10, then you get an extra turn. If you get level 20, then you get another extra turn, level 30, and so on. And that will be extremely useful for something later on. A lot of things later on, actually.
And I think last word proc chance is also based off of the potentiality stat.
I'm not sure about that one, but
I think
it could be.
I'm pretty sure it was, because in some of my older routing, it was I had to get Satori to 13, but I could increase like her thought stat to get the last word proc on level 12. I don't know how it works in this route, but
I forgot that site existed entirely.
I know, right? It's such a useless stat. It's like luck in a lot of things where luck actually doesn't do anything useful.
No. I might
I think pot.
No, you should be okay.
Okay, no.
I think the pot stat, like every 2 that you have, increases induction by 1, which is not a lot. It's either induction or resistance.
I think it's resistance. Dexterity is induction.
Okay, yeah, it's resistance.
Oh wait, was that? Oh, random.
Oh
wisdom
wow,
ring.
that was extremely lucky.
Well, I don't
You
have
got
it for the
the-
backup now.
Yeah, you got the drop that you needed, that you intended to get earlier but didn't get, but now you got it.
It's okay.
Mystic
This was
was
definitely
mad-
manipulation. Yeah, all this was actually planned ahead
Fish.
of time.
We planned to miss our RNG manipulation so we could hit this.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Another chance to actually kill that guy properly. Oh, we'll just get a crit low. Just get another crit low.
Decent power from it.
Very good.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'll take it. I'll get the extra power. 20 sure. At this point, power management is just kind of do it as you feel. I don't think I need that much power. I'm fine overall, but the more power, the better.
Yeah, it can be really tricky if the game just decides, hey, you're not getting enough power this time.
And that was a very good drop.
So Aya doesn't have power, but it doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter on her.
Alright, Meteor's time to go.
And this next fight, so Kanako is, or it's Kanako and Suiko. Kanako has tons of defense, tons of health, and is just a huge physical damage dealer. Getting damage to kill her is really hard to do. And then there's also Suiko, which isn't anywhere near as strong as Kaneko. She has like some water attacks, but it's mostly Kaneko that you would need to worry about.
Yeah, I'm powers. I think I'm 4 power. I have 4 power extra compared to what they want. So yes, those bosses are funny, as QJ explained. Black Ash now. And petrifies a boss.
Suiko is petrified. And Kaneko didn't really do that big of an attack there, so we're safe for now.
Yeah, who knows what the next turn will hold, though.
Oh no.
I'll be fine, guys. And yeah,
okay, she's first. Oh, okay, that
we
works
did it.
too.
We did it. That's the intended way to beat the fight. That's the intended way to beat Kaneko. You don't have to insta-kill her to beat her. I've done it before. You need to have a totally maximized setup in order to actually be able to beat Kaneko. But it's doable, but boy is she really hard. Yeah, and now we have free reign over the fight. We can wiggle our RNs however we want to get the 1.9 times bonus maximum from Fun Fantastica. And we just damage. Yeah, the game does give you hints on how to beat some enemies or some bosses when you game over on them. So long as you have the hints turned on. Which apparently you didn't do, Legrand.
No. I played this game without hints. I got to the final boss, and then it was too hard. So I never finished that game casually, actually.
Well, at least you got to the final boss. Quitting on the final boss is understandable. Anyways, we're gonna get...
Yeah, the Deadly Trio fight, it took me like, I don't know, a month to get through.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was pain.
Yeah, we make one of Yomu's weapons, a unique weapon from Yomu, Katana, which is the Shite Ninbutsu. Her katanas have extra crit on them, and they also have something else called Exorcism, which I'll explain after the next boss fight.
Oh, wait.
But yeah, putting 20 growth levels into Katana gives you a chance to get double hits. And double hits, if you have good RNG, if you're lucky enough, and this is RNG unit, so we do get pretty lucky, we can just have some of our attacks happen twice, and we plan the ones to have happen twice to be strong.
Welcome to Heaven, everyone. Oh, well, more exactly Baba, but that's basically Heaven. And feats are back.
Feet. Yeah, this area is kind of weird in terms of how you move. If you try to go straight forward, it's like, oh, you need a gold key to continue, so you have to go off of this separate path. By the way, this stage right here is the last stage that we're going to fight encounters on the way, or a bunch of encounters on the way for like some number of power levels. AP levels.
Dodges. Yeah, from now on I don't have to pay it. After this stage, I won't have to pay attention too much to whatever is happening. Say, Hyper Omega focus, so I'll be able to jump in on commentary a lot more. Because doing dodges is just easy stuff. Well, easy stuff. It comes naturally. I don't have to focus for it.
Yeah, so it's just fastest to get the to save quit out when you or save reset out once you get the key.
Because yes, unpausing the game saves it for some reason.
It's such a good feature, honestly.
It is.
Considering how menuing heavy this game is, being able to just stay whenever you exit the menu for the search. Yeah, I'll do.
So one thing that I kind of glossed over and said I'll explain later is Reimu with her barriers. So Reimu has some barriers which kind of nullify specific things in one turn, like one specific thing. In particular, I think she starts with it, but Evil Sealing Circle will nullify either a negative permanent, variety, or quick effect during that turn. So a permanent effect is what you would normally think with status effects, such as like Poison, Berserk, Petrify, that kind of stuff. And that's how we nullified Berserk that one turn against Grayson. Variety effects is mostly just buffs and debuffs. You can have 5 different varieties effects stacked on a character. And I think if you nullify variety effects for the turn, it doesn't affect your own buffs.
It depends.
It depends? Okay. Does it cancel Elemental Weapon? Do you know?
It does not cancel Elemental Weapon.
Interesting. But yeah, the third one is Quick, which is an effect that happens for that one turn. So Chirno used Freeze, which like it's a, sort of there's Daze, there's Freeze, there's Shock, which is basically you lose that one turn, and there's sometimes you can't dodge. Some weird effects, but it's basically like a Daze. And the other main thing that the main Quick effect that you would want to worry about is instant death. That happens just immediately. You just instantly die. That's it. It's a quick effect. Another thing is we're going to use this new formation, Apollo Break, that we got off of Alien and Kaguya. The notable thing about it is that it has the highest attack bonus in any single slot of each of the formations. And because we have Byakuren doing single target buffs, we need more support. It's good to have. Anyway, for this first turn, we're going to have Reimu use an Evil Sealing Circle on Quick. And what Yuko will do on the very first turn is use a status effect which will do Shock, and then whoever is shocked that turn gets instantly killed. So having Reimu use that quick canceling effect is a way that you can completely nullify that effect. Again, there's other ways that you can do it. And conveniently, Byakuren gets her last word at a 1.8 times.
Yomu's trunk!
Yep. Yomu
Myungao, best girl. no, that's
Yeah,
not true.
so Yomu did like 13,000 damage on that second turn because she doubled with her strongest attack she has so far.
Yep.
So from now on, I'm not going to fight anything anymore. Well, there's going to be a few random encounters that we're
You're going to
select.
take that exact encounter later.
Yeah, there's other reasons that we're going to fight encounters, but it's not going to be for power. We're good on power for the rest of the game. Bosses will give enough power for what we need.
And we're not going to fight stuff on the way.
Yeah.
Now
it's just dodges, so I can chill. Well, not really, because this place sucks. If I die midway through, it feels absolutely terrible because it's just terrible to maneuver around.
You need to hit that switch. Like, you actually start at the very end, but you need to hit a switch, get this key, and like totally wrap around. So what we do is we get this key and then save warp out. If you don't save warp out, you actually go back to the very beginning when you're walking. Okay.
Yeah, here.
Anyway, a quick mechanic, if I can. I don't have enough time to explain exorcism.
Because we are getting the cool weapon.
Yes, we're going to. So because we have to go back through here anyway, so we're not actually doing any non-required backtracking. We're going to take Iku's save point and reset the game, so we're back at regular RNG. So we're going to take an encounter in this next room. Got all the dodges. We just take the last one. This is the most important drop of the entire run, is off of that old Preda guy on the top left. Drops a very, very good weapon.
That's
so much so that it is almost route defining, and it is an axe. And the name of that axe is Turtle Smasher. It's good against turtles.
Yep.
More specifically, it has a reptile slayer effect, and that's in I think the most rare slayer effect in the game. There are only 4 weapons that have it. One of them
wonder why.
A dagger. Yeah, I wonder why. One of them being a dagger, and one of them is on Sakura's weakest unique weapon that you can craft, and then another one is post-game, and then you have Turtle Smasher.
Because we never mentioned it, but there is a post-game in this game. It's about as big, if not bigger, than main game. Considering the game already takes like 50 hours to clear casually, yeah.
It can be beaten in an hour.
Post-game can be beaten in an hour if you know exactly what you're doing. There's Sanaya at level 70 is pretty busted. Anyway, this boss coming up, Tenshi. One gimmick of the fight is that if you use a field effect, she has a good chance of replacing it with Genesis, which is a field spell that gives larger HP regeneration to everyone, including herself, which basically means that you lose. You can't beat the fight at that point. But it is actually random, so we're still going to actually use the field effect. Heaven Crack, which is the electric boosting field effect, and we'll just get lucky enough that she doesn't use it. We also get the RNs so that Yomu does I forget the attack, but it's a multi-hit attack, and we're also going to get doubles with it. And Mako is also in this fight, not because she's particularly useful in this strategy at all, but we need experience for her, and we also need experience for Reimu, and Reimu's our commander. And we're intentionally taking more damage here on the first turn so that we can get last word procced. So a lot of this fight is just defined on how we can get the RNG that we want. So we're going to use Moko as a healer, and normally she's not very well known as a healer. She's a model after a phoenix, so she has like regeneration and revival effects.
Attack with Patchouli, very important.
I believe in Patchouli. She can do it.
You can punch! I don't know.
Ah, dang. The days.
But she tried. And then, yeah, on this last turn, we're going to have Rainbow use her 3 bomb, which grants full exorcism, which is just enough so that we can actually finish Tenchi off this turn.
And she has... I think like she has a spell that fully heals her.
It's just Genesis.
Yeah. Genesis. We talked about that.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
We just get lucky enough that she doesn't use it. Yeah. So thankfully, we don't have too much to talk about in this next area. We are just running away. So I'll explain exorcism. So pretty much up to this point, there are some enemies and some bosses. Tenchi was one of them that have a divine barrier. Divine barrier stat is 25, which means that she takes 75% damage to attacks. And the way to pierce through that is with exorcism. And Yomu's katana, I think all of her katanas have exorcism, but the one that she currently has 25 exorcism, which actually pierces 25% of the divine barrier. So instead of doing 75% damage, it does 81.25%. But because we had Rainbow use her 3 bomb for full exorcism on that turn, we pierced completely through that divine barrier. And of all the bosses previously, only Kanako and Suako have divine barriers. So that's practically the first time that divine barrier even shows up. I think there's some like demon and angel enemies that have it, like have a little bit of it. But it's actually kind of a rare mechanic, which is why it never actually came up until this late in the we'll say this late in the game.
Oh my god, I got this dodge.
Nice.
So this place is really annoying for dodges because everything is a hitbox. Like this thing is a hitbox, for example. This flower is a hitbox.
Yeah, everything is deceptively solid.
Satori period. I think we've seen her frozen, stone frozen, at some point, or is it later?
That's later.
Yukari only appears in the story,
and cutscenes.
So we're not actually going to like fight Yukari or see Yukari at all in this run.
Yeah, I think in the cutscene we can see her in the stone statue at some point somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the characters are like,
oh,
oh my
Pinaka.
god!
Pinaka.
Is that the...
Oh right, I didn't pick it. Oh, no. Okay, this is going to be awkward. Okay. Oh no! Please don't kill me.
This isn't a dangerous fight.
Yeah, this one's the most tame.
Yeah, this place has like some super scary encounters.
Now, if it were a unicorn...
No, those things are scary.
Or beholders. Or... harpies, even.
The skeletons are also kind of scary. I think maybe those are the most scary.
Skeletons are scary because
unicorns
they've
and
got the
skeletons.
full AoE move thing that just one-shot everyone.
Meteor Zapper, yeah.
Meteor Zapper. I mean, it only one-shots us because we're low level. Normally it doesn't. Normally it's not that strong, but it's still strong.
I still
It
don't.
still hurts. Still hurts quite a bit.
Okay, I'm gonna set that. This place also has a bunch of one-way entrance. So right now, if I save and I die, I can't go through that door that I just picked. So that's why I did the menu right before entering the pipe, because yeah, it blocks the entrance.
Yeah, some of these shortcuts. I still don't fully understand how this area functions.
Oh yeah, by the way, this is
Yeah, there's Ran, Stone Ran.
Clearly, you should talk to her.
Servant.
No, it's going to mess up my menu.
You get a formation if you talk to her, which you don't want because it's gonna screw up her menuing. Yeah, so what you're gonna do is gonna save here.
So now we're going to farm a bit.
I don't know why you would need to do a hard reset here for full RNG.
For
but-
good encounters.
Okay.
And right now we're kind of manipulating power. So
Yeah,
Is worse.
essentially, we're just getting these two fights out of the way.
I wasn't supposed to do it like that. What?
I mean, it works either way.
I think this one's better anyway.
No, the other is better for power, actually. It doesn't
No,
matter.
this
after-
one is actually better.
I'm
Usually
good on
numbers are
power
better for
anyway.
power.
I'm just doing that for the easier dodges.
Or it usually is.
Anyways, we're gonna reset the game a bunch. It's R6, is it?
Or
Four.
This one.
Okay. We're gonna close the game, soft reset the game 4 times. And then we're gonna go here, run away, and then get the second encounter in this area. And this is the first time that we see the third tier of Yuko. We actually get ambushed, which hardly ever shows up, but we have Aya to cancel the ambush. And yeah, we're going to fight 3 of these to get a bunch of EXP. And there was a lot of routing that we did to tighten up the EXP route, and the end result is that we cut one of these out. Yeah, if you weren't here earlier, these are metals, essentially metal slimes. Get lots of EXP. You don't get a whole lot of power levels for your growths. But this is still a boatload of EXP. And really the reason why we need the EXP is just for one specific skill, really. Maybe more than that, but primary purpose is to get Mokol to level 45 at a certain point.
I don't think I need to kill that often.
you only have to heal once if you have max bombs on Yomu.
Yeah, I just at this point I'm kinda dead. Playing on autopilot. It's
Oh,
fun
there is
because-
another thing that I was gonna mention. Like, alongside Divine Barrier, there are 2 hidden barriers. One is Magic Barrier and one is Physical Barrier. They are not affected by Exorcism. And the earliest you see one is actually Patchouli Boss. She has 25 Magic Barrier.
I did not know that.
Alright, time for the boss. So remember, we've got a cool weapon to kill turtles. Guess what? We're going to use it.
My boss as a turtle.
Oh my god.
We have Genji, who is Reimu's pet. And Genji is here. In a big form. And is a turtle. Yeah. We still want Mako to get EXP, so we're going to put her into the commander slot. And Aya is going to, right now, we're going to set Favorable Wind, which reflects a breath attack on the entire party, which there's nothing too special about breath attacks, it's just we're going to reflect an attack on one specific turn.
I don't have.
So normally, okay. Normally at this point you would be using Alice a whole lot to reduce damage on your party. And if you do that, Genji isn't going to hit all that hard. But we don't have Alice in our party. We want as much damage as possible. But as a result of that, Genji is actually going to hurt us quite a bit. But Moko's one bomb commander skill is reviving one party member at random, but it's going to be one. We're going to have one party member dead.
So note the damage that Yomu does, and then note that he actually has 30 physical barrier. So yeah, 9,000, and that was reduced by 30%.
Byakuren failed to get a debuff off, but she got her last word, and Byakuren, you know what's gonna happen when you get her last word. Get either a 1.8 or a 1.9. In this case, it's a 1.8.
Boom. Dead turtle. We haven't talked about the story at all up until now, but just know that it's basically a Touhou story, so it's completely irrelevant.
I mean, I actually do have something on the story, like, at this point, but before that, I'm gonna have a
Circle
beautiful
9.
formation. The Maruku form, Chirno's formation. Don't know Chirno, she was one of the bosses we fought previously, the Ice Fairy, and known as being really childless characters. She always thinks she's the strongest. And she gives us this formation, which is truly the strongest formation.
It actually is.
Yeah, it has like a nice backup. We have this, it has a main ability of being able to run away. And it also has a nice backup of letting you survive another turn pretty well to run away the next turn if you fail to run away.
Please.
But yeah, the first slot, which is on the very top right that Marisa's in, 10% target chance, minus 50% speed, and automatic defense, or an auto defend on that spot. The front, which is the second slot, is a 35% target chance, plus 30% magic attack, minus 3% physical defense, and minus 99% evasion. So it's the best magic slot, but it's also the most likely to be targeted, and it's at the very front.
Now for the reason we use it.
Yeah, the reason we use it is the mid-right, the one that Aya is in, has a 20% target chance, minus 25% physical magic attack, but plus 33% speed. And that plus 33% speed is better than Aya's Gensokyo's fastest formation. So it just randomly has a really good speed slot for running away.
Basically, this formation is just a whole other layer of gameplay. We're just not built for it. That's why Chirno is the strongest. It's just because she's got an information that's just better than everything else that you can even imagine.
Nice R0.
Yeah, I don't know why. Don't ask.
Hard to reset the game when you don't need it.
Eh.
Anyway, yeah, the center, 20% target chance, increased physical attack, decreased speed, nothing too important there. But the bottom one is also kind of important in that it has a 15% target chance, so low target chance. A little bit of extra magic attack, plus 10, minus 20% defense, but plus 20% evasion, and plus 5% speed. So the evasion is what's relevant there. If there's like a full attack that happens, having that extra evasion boost is really nice, and it has that extra speed. And it also dodges a lot of random AoE attacks that can happen because it's so far out of the way from all the other spots in the formation. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, you did the entire stage. All we did was talk about Mario Q for him.
That's how insane
Yeah.
that formation is.
It's so funny.
It's the best.
It's not even that much better than just using Gensokyo's fastest, but it's also funny, so that's the real reason to use it. Yeah, the story is that at this point, we found out who the real perpetrators of the incident was. It was happening in Gensokyo, and it turns out it weren't actual Touhou characters, but rather original characters from the makers of the game. They look like they would really fit in, and like they would be Touhou characters, but here we are going to fight against one of the subordinates, known as Matsuba, who is modeled after a crab.
Crab dance.
Crab dance. Yeah, she's kind of a pushover boss. She has actual physical attack, but that's it. Not much to talk about. So, I guess we can talk about the rest of the story. Ryu basically went all around Gensokyo. Well, first, there was a mist that was being covered all around Gensokyo, and it was kind of making a bunch of people go crazy. And Reimu is the one who solves incidents. She's not very good at it, so what she did is she just accused a whole bunch of the major characters in Gensokyo. And it's only up to this point that we've actually finally we stumbled on the real culprit.
Yeah. And Reimu has
seen
this
Alice
habit
doing
of punching people and then asking questions later. So that's why we've been fighting so many bosses. Oh my god, come on, please. Okay, so we're going to redo that boss fight, because that game glitched again. Great.
Yeah, every character denies that they were responsible, except Tenchi because she's a masochist and wants to get beat up.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, so the culprit is over there. Good luck."
Yeah, she's the one who tells you that actually tells you where to go.
It's very much a Toy Story.
Yeah, there's not much to it. And the actual culprits are the, like, this is one of the subordinates, but the culprits are the 3 Gorgon sisters. Which, by the way, the Gorgon sisters count as reptiles.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the Turtle Smasher is such a good weapon. Yeah, this is a pushover fight. One of the few fights I did beyond like the first few chapters or first few stages that I did on my first try.
Sick. I was like, oh, this is fine. And then I got to this next boss. Which is not fine.
think it's fine. I think all the bosses in this game are great.
Oh yeah, they're really
They're
well
very
designed.
well designed.
They are well designed.
It's just that the game is
Definitely
so
more
hard, and there's so
difficult
many
sometimes.
options that like it take
There
a
are,
while to.
yeah, they're hard. There's so many options, but there's never just one way to beat them. There's always alternative ways, and you can use the options that you have in enough specific ways to beat them. And there's no one specific
There's
thing
not
that you
only
need.
one solution.
Yes,
You mean
there's
you're not
only-
supposed to use only one character against every boss?
Well, you can do it because someone has done it.
Oh, ZF, you silly guy.
I make bad
by the way,
decisions.
This route, what makes this stage hard is the fact that you have to figure that you have to go through this hidden path. This is how you have to get through the area. Oh yeah, this stage is short so long as you know about that path. So this is the save room, but we're actually going to save and heal room, so we're actually going to save and reset so we can get this specific encounter. Which gives us a lot of those power points. And yeah, this is where we are still technically fighting random encounters for extra power levels, but
It's just that it's
It's
very, very
one-
much convenient and on the way, more than anything.
yeah.
Also,
It's-
before Legrand ran through this stage, he took off Moko's armor. This is because she wouldn't have been able to outspeed all of them with Flying Phoenix if she had her armor still.
Otherwise, they would have to use illusionary dominance cancel and stuff. It's slow.
And we also took off Byakuren's armor, like, immediately, because she just goes faster that way, and I don't think we ever put armor on her ever again.
Nope.
You know, you can see right there. She had no weapon, no shield, no armor. Truly optimal equipment. Except for the quick blade, that increases her speed. So, yeah. Equipping stuff slightly decreases your speed, and we want speed. Anyway, this next boss is Matsuba we just fought, and Genji, both together. The unique thing about having them both together is that when you beat one of them, they fully heal the other and have a second dangerous form. The other one has a second dangerous form. Matsuba is technically the more dangerous one to leave alone, but also takes more hits to kill, so killing Genji is faster.
See how. It's gonna go fast, don't blink. And so this boss is like one of the longest of the game, and yeah, just one shot.
6 turns? 6 turns, I think?
7.
Yes.
7? 7.
6.
6 or 7
Well,
turns.
6 most of the time, and 7 potentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least in the notes, but I never got to the 7 turns.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten 7.
I don't think it's even possible because, well, Yomu dies on turn 6, spoiler. So I don't think it even works.
Surely Yomu is the only casualty, though.
Yeah, in my original run, it took like, what, 9 turns. And it wasn't manipulated, but it was what I would consider like so safe that when I actually started putting manipulations in with my route, it didn't actually affect the speed of this fight at all. Yeah.
Oh, Alice is dead. Tank is dead.
Alice
Oh no.
Oh no.
We needed to get the right RNs for for Byakuren to get her 1.9.
That. Let's go. And everyone's dead.
Oh no.
GG.
Oh no, she's dead too.
And more importantly, Mako is still alive. And she gets to level 45, so she learns Fujiyama Volcano. So Mako actually needs to be alive there. So normally you get full EXP even if you're dead in a fight, unless you have the Yukuri medal equipped. If you have the Yukuri medal equipped, then you don't get the EXP bonus if you're dead. So that's... I think it just mostly ended up... It just turned out that way that Moko just survived anyway.
No,
But
she
it
used
is-
to die.
Oh, she
We had
used
to
die.
manipulate it.
Yes, yeah, we had to actually manipulate Moko surviving that. Kind of funny.
This next stage is very interesting.
I like it. A lot of I know a lot of people who have played it don't like it. But
I like it now.
I just love this game. I love this game so much that I pretty much like all. I love all of the things in this game. So
Probably the game I'm the most knowledgeable about.
You know too much about this game. That's,
remember Aente when we had a two-party split? Well, why not 3? Why not 3 separate parties that you have to go through an area through?
Yep. And each party this time is going to influence the path of the other.
Yeah, so we don't actually need to fight any encounters. In like one of my old routes, I would just do it with the third party, which had 6 characters, and then the other 6 were divided on the other 2. Yeah, the first one has Aya in a party of 3. Aya is the best at running away. Sakuya and Alice are in a party of 4. Alice survives the best, and Sakuya can equip daggers, and we have her spec for speed, and you can increase your speed with daggers. So she goes fast.
Well, fast enough.
So she's fast enough. And then the third party has 5 characters, and Marisa has the quick blade for the dagger and growths to get extra speed. Marisa isn't the best at running away, but she's in a party of 5, so if... Well, I think she's still fine at running away, but this party has Alice, and Alice is really good at surviving, and then this party is good at surviving because it has 5 party members. And I guess also some heavyweights.
And also mostly it's in Circle 9, so best formation in the game.
It has
So
Circle
obviously
9.
it's going to be fine.
We have to use that formation. It's too funny to not use.
It's fast!
It is. It has speed.
If only we could report 11 things. Turtle just came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yukari, what did you just do? That happens sometimes, just random encounters just taking a while to load, and then, well, load.
My personal favorite is when there are random enemy sprites where they shouldn't be.
I don't think I've seen that too much. But I think I remember hearing that or seeing it. This game has some funny...
I know ZF loves to, whenever he runs the game, he loves to do his menuing. He does like a menu glitch.
Oh,
where
trapezohedron.
No, I'm taking another one.
Oh, okay.
Fine? No!
No! Oh!
No!
Red gotta start all, pretty much all over. You did get that one door.
I opened the door. I don't think I opened the other stuff though.
Does this route have Aya with less speed? Because she didn't go first.
It doesn't.
It doesn't? What do you mean doesn't?
She doesn't have less speed.
She doesn't have less speed, okay.
I just got unlucky because goats are fast. I guess so.
It's
I
a
think they've
specific
got
skill they
priority
have.
move. Yes.
Mock kick
They-
has higher
Yeah,
priority.
That wasn't mock kick, though. That was just
Yeah.
regular attack.
Yeah, I know.
So, I don't know what was going on. I know, like, your speed accessories, you put them on, like, some of the other characters here, like Satori and Marisa. I think that's what Craze did, is that
Yep.
he put some of the speed accessories on some of the other parties and just hope that Aya's speed was good enough to outspeed everything. But apparently it didn't work there.
Yeah, working it. Did I hit the switch over there? Can't remember. I'll just switch and see.
Oh yeah, that's true. You can just go there with the other party, and if you can't go through, you can just do that.
That encounter is just really hard to dodge.
Oh, yes, this game. So this game actually came out a long time, quite a while ago, and there was no official English release. And we're playing that version of the game, English patched. And fairly recently, there's been a Steam version, which is a remake of this game, which is technically a port of the Vita version of this game, which is a remake. And this game was recently put onto Steam.
There is also a Switch
October
version
30th.
if you are on the Nintendo eShop.
The Switch version is the Vita version ported.
Yeah,
And it's only in Japanese
There's-
as well.
Yeah.
the Vita version port. You can tell it's that version if there's a V after all the Japanese characters. But yeah, I think there's actually going to be an English patch coming to the Steam version pretty soon.
Can I please not die? Thank you.
And that's what Alice does. She didn't die.
She was 2 hits away from death.
More than everyone else.
True. That's why dodging is so important. Not so much because it's style points and it's fast, but also because then you don't die if you dodge. Since there is a trapezoid.
That trapezohedron.
It's kind of iffy because it's next to encounters, but most of the time you can just
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, if you can't tell, we have to switch between each of the 3 party members regularly to get through here.
Oh, dang.
So
Not doing safety.
Nah,
no safety.
I'm
you
not
go
doing
to the-
safety. I'm not a coward. I should be a coward.
Famous last word.
No, a coward should be a coward. Yeah, what you can do is you can go into the final room. And even though you can't bring all 3 characters because you need to hit switches with some of the other party members, you can open up your menu and save. So it's a save, essentially, that you can take.
That was some dodges. That was dodges?
That was impressive.
Oh. Yeah, not possible. It's I sometimes impress myself with the quality of my dodges. Like really, I think that a dodge can work, but I just trust my fingers and they do the job and it works. And I'm like, oh, that worked.
I mean, it is random whether or not some dodges will work, but
Yes, there's...
yeah, you have to go for it. You have to go for some of them because you're required to.
Now we can save.
Okay, now we hit 3 switches so we can teleport back here. Wait, did all 3 of the switches get hit?
No.
I didn't. No.
This part didn't say to switch yet.
I was wondering why you were opening your menu. And
It's
removing
because
some
you
menu.
have to remove some equipment from
We're
Marsa.
separate. Oh, okay. In a separate menu, you have to remove equipment.
Alright,
So
time
you're
to
just,
visit
like-
the queue one last time.
Doing that as you're saving. Yeah, we're gonna visit Aki one last time because we had that trapezohedron that we said. It gives you that's the crafting material for the 6th tier weapons, and in particular, we're gonna get Yomu's Dojigiri Yasutsuna, the katana, which is practically required for beating the final boss.
Now that's katana.
Yeah, it has a 400 God Slayer effect and a 100% exorcism, which are both what we really need. And it's also just a new weapon that is good, and a good katana for Yomu to have equipped. So technically we technically wouldn't need it here, but we eventually need it, so why not? And we're not even going to use it again until the final boss. But yeah, we have a 3-way party split, and our attacks are split across 3 different parties. We also got Salamander Breastplate, which is an armor for plus 10 fire attack. Yeah, the reason we needed Moko to get to level 45 was for this.
Sorry,
Just
I'm looking
about
for
to
it.
select the skill. Yeah,
I'm
the
looking
skill
for it.
is
There you go.
Fujiyama Volcano right here.
Here.
Fujiyama Volcano. High strength, added fire damage. It's just a strong attack. And
You'll see how strong.
it's gonna be used. It's really strong. Yeah, so these yeah, so the 3 so we have the 3 maids that we have to be with 3 separate parties. So the first one is Akame, which is a dangerous fight that's like very few ways to play it safe. But if you have Makola with Fujiyama Volcano, she can practically solo the fight. We're bringing Sakuya and Satori with her because Sakuya and Satori don't have anywhere else to be. So might as well get a formation bonus by bringing them with Makola. And yeah, Akame is weak to fire. It's a very volatile fight, but easy to beat quick. Even without argument up, this is what you would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll explain the other 2 once we beat the first one.
Search.
Yeah, I got a menu for all 3 fights. Here we go. She uses poison. She also has 1,000 needles, which does 1,000 damage. That would hurt. Start off with a crit, 10k damage. A little bit more than 10k, and then she heals back to 10k, and then we get another crit.
It's the only time we'll use Colossal World. And it's actually pretty good on quite a few bosses, because that prevents healing.
Yeah, Coliseum World prevents all healing. So against bosses that do heal, you can use that, but you also can't heal. Anyways, the second one is Chihiro. She starts off with a full party water attack that has an insta-kill effect with it. So we drain water attacks with Alice, and we use Evil Sailing Circle on Quick to shut off the instant death.
Yomu is going to show what she's also boss.
Yeah, It's gonna get double big hits.
There's one thing that actually goes through Colossio World's heal, and that is daggers. They have points to where you absorb HP, and that actually just, it works.
Oh yeah, I forgot that about daggers. Daggers are so not good. Except when they are, which is very rarely. So Kagami here has high physical defense and a lot of HP, so that's why we have two of our main mages here. And with our mage, both of our mages, we put points into their growths to have them get random chance for doubles. Even if you're not using full manip, you would do this. And Nitori is also here because she has elemental damage. We increase fire damage a lot, and Nitori can use fire damage, although it's not much. So another thing is we're using the illusionary dominance glitch with Aya. So we're basically using illusionary dominance every turn to go first, have our entire party go first every turn. And that's important because Kagami starts the turn off with that seclude skill, which is a counterattack skill. So we're getting under the counterattack by going first. Normally you can use a field skill, so you don't have to use illusionary dominance every turn, but that's just how we do it. This is just how we do it. Just ended up working out the best this way.
Well, it also helps that using illusionary dominance cancel allows you to set up the fire field spell.
Yeah, oh yeah, that too.
I completely messed up the RNG manip here, by the way. But
Yeah.
it just works. As long as Aya survives, we're fine.
And I mean, you have a healer.
Yeah.
Aya can kind of dodge tank. She's a medium weight and has legitimate ways to be defensive. She's not just a person in the party to run away, although that's what she's doing right now.
And she can solo Yugi.
Yeah, she can dodge tank. And that's why I said she can dodge tank. And Yugi can be killed by a dodge tank. Anyways, this is stage 19. It's very small. It has all of the enemies in stage 18, so you don't have to go with the three-way party split if you want to fight the enemies there for like drops or something. So yeah, look at the key on the screen on the right. And then we're gonna warp back in.
And yeah, by the way, if you didn't realize, this is basically the final dungeon, but split in multiple stages.
It's split in, we have one area that is split into 4 different stages.
Yukuri.
Hey,
Shitene.
Yeah, after this next boss, we get to the best stage.
There's a lot of sarcasm in that.
Oh.
Yo, Aya!
Yoshi survived!
He did survive.
So we're halfway through the stage already.
No, we're more than halfway.
It's pretty short.
We're more than halfway through the stage.
Sanae just got destroyed. Yeah, I do a lot of. If you look at, like, I'm trying to avoid doing noises, but when doing the actual attempts of this game, I do some weird ass noises because dodges are scary, and encounters are also scary.
This next boss, Anastasius, the second of the the third of the 3 Gorgon sisters.
Oh, that was not the right weapon that I equipped on that fight. I did everything very wrong.
So this next boss, Anastasius, she has very high physical defense, very high physical attack, and regenerates 999 HP every turn. But we have a funny trick up our sleeves because she only has physical attacks. So, Byakuren has this skill that we've been using, Elemental Weapon, to enchant an element on one of our physical characters to exploit an elemental weakness. We can do the exact reverse of that, where we will use Elemental Weapon on the boss. So we're going to enchant her physical attacks with water, and then defend against water instead of physical, because defending against elements is a lot easier to do than the physical ones. Although that's not actually going to happen until like turn 2 or 3. We want to get
Turn
some buffs
2.
in.
Yeah.
Turn 2, yeah.
This boss fight is really, really hard if you don't move that.
And Patchouli is in the magic spot with Mother Q form. Right in the very front, low defense, we don't care. So Reimu is going to...
immune, and yeah.
Yeah. Reimu puts up an elemental barrier, so on this turn, all attacks of the main 4 elements are nulled. So that's why we took 0 damage. And we have it set up so that Alice is going to get hit here. There are some other strats you can do to make it so if that exact thing didn't happen, you would have a way to go through the fight. Yeah, another trick that we have up our sleeve is we're not going to use it yet. It's our sacrifice, but yeah, she's just hitting Alice right now. We could have used Artful Sacrifice, but we just didn't need to yet.
I'm completing Tiger's back, so another free turn.
Mm-hmm.
Smash!
Yeah, we want to manipulate double hits, which you kind of actually just need to do. It's better to gamble for double hits than it is to just get raw extra damage. The Artful Sacrifice is a drain. And then on this very last turn, we're going to see Anastasis' special attack when she gets to low HP. Maybe we will.
Protect Patchouli, yeah.
Yep. I know the strat. I've seen that happen quite a bit.
2,000 damage.
Just making sure.
Yeah, she punches quite a bit. If you let
Also, Revolution has like a base damage of 5,000 in a game where your max HP is like 1,000-ish, 999. Although you can use a max HP buff to go past that.
So yeah, the puncher is
There's a lot of downtime during this stage.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
I'll just squeal for commentary. I think that's people going to enjoy that.
So I actually have a theory about running in... Oh, sorry.
That stage is just really long.
It is. But I have a theory about how running works in this game. Like, I don't think it's solely speed-based. Like, I think there are two levels to it.
Alright, well, I get this dodge. No.
One is the speed, where if you outspeed them all, then you get to have the chance to run first. But I am starting to think that the way that the run rate works is the average level of your team.
That'd be interesting. So this place is really long, and also there's really, really little room to dodge encounters, so I'm going to hit a bunch of encounters and pray that I don't die when I hit them. And also try to dodge them, and try to avoid bonking, but it's just pretty much impossible for a human to get most of the dodges here. I'd say for a computer or a task, that'd be much more doable, but still, there's quite a few encounters that you just cannot dodge.
Yeah. And all of these...
This encounter, for example, is actually dodgeable if you've got the right RNG. Like if they're stuck on a corner, or you just do some more shit like that. Oh no, I'm dead.
No, I believe in Moko.
Moko will be fine, yeah. Moko is able to have like
Oh, and you have the
fire heal.
speed.
So she's not really damaged by fire. So this encounter, even though it's scary because fire burst just kills everyone, it's not that bad. But generally, if you get a cannot run away, it's dead.
It doesn't have escape rate decay, no. Oh, right. You also mentioned water instead of earth. Yeah, the reason we enchant Anastasis with water instead of earth, because while we are using a lot of electric and having crack will lower earth damage, we don't have a perfect shield for earth, but we get the midwinter shield along the way.
Oh my
And
god!
the
I
defense
got
from that is dang. And the extra defense from the midwinter shield is just too amazing.
Yeah, I'm back, by the way. Yeah, it's because of the shield. The water shield is just the most convenient to pick up.
Also, it wouldn't maximize our damage because every time she would use a nurse attack, that would just diminish your electrical damage, I guess. So it makes sense in terms of speed as well.
I don't even
serious
remember
search.
where the Earth one is. Is it the one in Yokai Mountain? I think.
Yeah, it's the Yokai
Okay.
Mountain. Like, as soon as you get to the
Yeah.
past
I
the
know it
pond
is.
part, take the left path.
Oh my god, I got that dodge.
Yeah, so you wouldn't even have a danger of an extra encounter to get that one.
But it's slow.
But it's slow. It takes like
Very slow.
a whole 10 to 15 seconds to get. That's just too much time.
And probably also have a guaranteed extra turn as well because of less DPS. Lucky. So yeah, I did like one wing of the castle. I got to go through a second wing like that.
The way I like to put it.
I got
Yeah,
the glitch.
you can do that. Sometimes you can just phase through enemies in the middle of walking through stairs.
Yeah.
The fact that you got that is really cool.
I didn't expect that. I didn't go for it.
You didn't even go for it.
I just went through because I knew I couldn't dodge it, and oh, well, I can actually. I've got the power of. Oh my god, this encounter is scary. So we got another trick here, which is private square, and then you can try to run away. I say try because you can still fail to run away, even though you stop time.
As far as I know, you can only fail to run once, though.
Oh, okay.
Hmm?
Well, I think it's because it never
What?
happened to you that you got kind of run away twice.
True, I have never got it.
Yeah, there is totally a Hellbiker in there. You've got a billion of different references in this game that, like, I don't get, but exists. There's some that I get.
That beast rider there is that guy on a beast is just called Dante.
Yeah. So there's literally a featuring Dante, so maybe from the Devil May Cry series.
And you can show off the name. Maybe show off the name.
Yeah,
he
if
shows
I
it
get
up.
one. No, I'm not here. Cannot run away. Oh no.
Yeah, this is one of the nicer ones to get can't run away.
I'm just not taking a risk. That's basically why we've got Satori in the parties, so that we've got a panic button that we can press.
The sprite, the sprite on Dante is also an FF6 reference. I forgot the name of the enemy, but it's the guy in front of Kafka at Narsh, and also shows up in Narsh itself later in World of Ruin. I think I have my game knowledge correct on that.
Is that Colossus? Probably. So a bunch of Yukuris.
They don't actually give much EXP out at this point, and we don't even care about... Well, we do kind of care about EXP, but just in a really weird way.
Also Gundams.
And basically what we're doing here is we're just showing off all of the different enemies that exist in this area.
That's the hard part done.
Yeah. The most annoying one too, because if you die the last encounter, you're just lost 5 or 6 minutes. Right, well, get cool dodges here again. Yes.
Did you do the top right? Yeah, you did the top right.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I like to put it is that there are 4 quadrants here, and we've gone through 3 of the 4 quadrants. And once we do get past the 4 quadrants, there's still one more area.
Yep. If you thought it was over, this stage is hella long. And good luck fighting all the encounters too if you want to do that. So, there's quite a few.
Eventually you'll get through it if you want to do that.
I mean, it would,
I did.
it would actually help if you want to beat the final boss, actually. Because I didn't do anything from stage 19 onward, I think. And that made it really hard to get through to the final boss casually. Alright. So now it's the labyrinth. I need to hit all the doors in a specific order.
Yeah. Also, there's a chest there that has a strength up accessory that would take like 2 seconds to get, but we don't need it.
We used to pick it, actually.
Yep. It was in every... It was one of the routes that I got. When did
that's
that
not
get cut? When did that get cut out? It was probably something that ZF.
It's something I did. I tried cutting out a lot of items that I was like, okay, let's just get ones that are just necessary. If I find a place that is bad, then I will try and find an item that will fix it. And I didn't run into any issues without getting the Rage Choker 3, so I just
I used to pick it up before. Alright, we're done.
To be fair, it used to be necessary.
Used to be, yeah.
Yeah, so this next boss, Biotopus, the second of the 2 Gorgon sisters. She has 2 gimmicks. One of them, she really loves to use different field effects to debilitate you, so like defense fog and attack fog. And the one that's the worst is paralyzed fog, because you'll randomly lose actions, which is really bad. But you can override it with your own field skill, but she'll also overwrite your field skill with her own. So there's this kind of whole thing about setting up fields and such. But Pachuli's field is really good. Also, if you remember in the Kaguya and Adrian fight where we did that sort of double elemental boost trick to do a lot of damage against Kaguya and Adrian, well, Fujiyama Volcano has the same kind of effect that Purgatory Impale has, with like extra elemental damage.
So we just cancel the field here. And also, yeah, this is basically a turtle, so we've got the turtle's commander back.
You saw that 12,000 damage had flashing numbers. That meant that we hit weakness. But now what we're going to do is we're going to enchant. Oh, it'll be next turn, I guess.
She's already enchanted. She
Oh.
just was enchanted
okay,
after.
She was okay. Yeah. Now that she is enchanted, instead of using the blunt, which she's weak to, it's fire and fire, but it does way more damage because of that double boost. That's how good having that boost is. Anyways, stuff to talk about. Something to note is that Satori is our commander. She is the least used in the run, but she has a very important role here. So it turns out that her 3-bomb skill, I think it's literally called enemy skill, when you select it, it chooses an enemy and uses their skill. The thing is, though, is that enemy choosing consumes an RN. So we can move the RNs however we please, and we could have done this the entire time, it just never came up. So yeah, this is the last stage, and the run rate is really low. There are only 4 screens that we need to get through. This one is confusing because it wraps around. But yeah, here's the 3rd screen. But because the run rate is so low and every encounter is so deadly, we have like an entire tree of how many encounters that you get in previous rooms. This is the number of times we need to advance RNs for your next encounter in order to be able to run away. By the way, this is an optional boss. Each room in this stage has 2 different optional bosses that are like real bosses. Yeah, this is
Oh my
the
god,
fourth
that was
one.
so good.
And
Okay.
action happened. We don't know where the RNG is. But
Just get your dodges, though.
okay. Yeah, the last 7x, the enemies can't actually go there, so that was pretty reasonable to get the dodges. Alright, we got here. So, when I was talking about those bosses, the last screen
it's gonna be
as
Julian.
one of the 2 bosses is a King Yukuri, which gives a lot of EXP, and the EXP is affected by by scaling, and it's scaled even higher than normal. So we're gonna close the game and reset 6 times so we can get this and get lots of EXP. So we were level 45, specifically to get Fujiyama Volcano going into stage 18. And we need to get to level 60 so we can get what I call Pass Channel onto Yomu. It's a very long name of a skill, but Yomu needs a certain skill. So, because there's so much EXP that you get, we only need 3 King Yukuris. But because there's so much EXP, when I first saw this, I was thinking, maybe there's a chance that because of the scaling, that you could end up in a bad spot, or in a very specific bad spot with the EXP, where you would, if you had less EXP, you would end up getting scaled further because of how big of a chunk the EXP happens. So I looked into it, and the worst spot to beat EXP-wise is level 45. Thankfully, we have the Yukuri medal, so we can move the EXP, or we can get extra EXP and not be able to get enough at the end of it. So I think is that what you were doing there, Legrand? Moving over the medal?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I did the math, figured out how to make sure that we could get level 60 on everyone, despite all of the weird EXP stuff that's happening. And in the end, what's going to happen is Byakunin is going to be the highest level. Despite starting at a lower level throughout this entire grind.
So shout out to Bia Gurren for being on floor cleaning duty. She's doing her best.
So this is the final stage, but the next boss is not the final boss. So we just basically have the stage boss and then the final boss. So the next boss is Lethos, the first of the 3 Gorgon sisters. So out of the 3, the third one that we fight out of the 3. Even casually, she was kind of a pushover, but the one thing to watch out for, or the main things to watch out for, is that on turn 1, she uses a Petrify attack, which can even go through the accessories that practically always removes resist a status. So if you have Alice use Little Legion with that accessory on, she would still get petrified. However, we picked up a shield called the Perseus shield that has actual full resistance to petrify. So it's not the accessory that makes this work. It's the fact that she has a specific shield with perfect petrification resistance, so no one gets petrified there.
I kind of tested, and it does work with the Hakutaku's lunchbox. It's just that she needs the Gaia ring, so her other 2 slots are just filled up.
Well, it was in like a previous route where that was a problem. I guess it's just with this one in particular. Yeah, and another thing we did is cover McCall right there, because Vortex cancels all buffs, but we can have Alice just cover that effect, so McCall still has all of the buffs. And she's weak to fire, double elemental boost. Here we go. Big juicy 40k.
Shout out to Aya being there just so no one ever misses.
Yeah, this boss is really hard to hit without it. Somehow. Also, it's level 60. Yomu and Loko, which are both important.
So, once we beat Lethos, Moko, and Yomu should be level 60. We're in Pastel Moon Reflecting Satellite Slash. Being the final boss without it is really hard. So, the final boss, there's quite a bit happening with it. Quite a bit of it we also skipped. But you can set up 2 separate parties and do one swap out to the second party during the fight. In older routes, I actually had to set everyone up to beat it, which made this prep menu really long.
It was 5 minutes long when you knew what you were doing.
5 minutes long. Like, Legrand, you're fast at menus. And it took you 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But we have RNG manipulation for a very specific strat that makes it work in a very fast way. So we're done with our menuing. It didn't take 5 minutes.
This was the one thing I really wanted to do while rerouting.
I did not want to do this because it's right at the very end of the fight and you have to keep RNG minute up to the very last turn. And I'm just like, oh, no. Please. That's too much for me. But it wasn't too much for you, Zia. Anyways, here's the first phase.
Apollo?
Oh, right.
Wrong formation.
Forgot that. I mean, that was easy to spot.
Moko's in the front, middle.
I saw Aya. Did I see Aya in the party?
Yeah,
That's
the team
fine.
is not. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah.
Man.
That's fine. Things are fine. This is fine. Ignore the fire.
So,
in the room.
right there, you noticed. Like, I noticed right when I was watching.
You can say something.
So you noticed that I didn't notice the information was wrong because even though it was clearly visible. That's because when I'm doing menus, I'm not watching the game. I'm watching my notes, and I just know what inputs to do to get every input. Most of the time.
So the first phase, the three sisters swap out every turn. They share the same health bar, but they use different attacks, and they share the resistance that they had. And like the first one, Anastasis, he has the 999 health regen. They will also summon these ads. In this case, we saw some of the alligators. And you... The second...
Oops.
Oh.
Ooh, you did a thing. I wasn't looking at it. I was looking at my notes. My commentary notes.
I just messed up the first turn. I misread my notes.
Yeah, among those ads that they will bring, which are random, they can include any of the three maids that appeared earlier, including the first one, which has like 1,000 needles to do 1,000 damage to one of your characters, which is actually going to show up, but we're gonna beat them on that turn.
Another thing that's actually kind of funny is that the manipulation just so happens to make Anastasis summon 2 alligators, and then the first thing that Biotope summons is a turtle.
He's a crocodile. Anastasis
Whatever.
is a crocodile.
The point is, they are basically the same animal.
Yeah, this is the first phase. We need to get quite a bit of damage in. And this is only really possible because we have the Turtle Smasher. We can only really get this much damage with Moko alone because of the Turtle Smasher. Do you think so, ZF? Maybe it would still be possible without it. But...
I think it'd be possible, but infinitely harder.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to get criticals on every attack.
Even on the final boss, they count as reptiles. Satori is our commander for this, so we can advance RNG. Another thing to note is that on the very first turn, Mako charged her last word, and by being level 60 instead of level 59, the last word lasts for another turn anyway. We're in the second phase. The three sisters are in a weaker state, but it's basically a 9-turn limit. And if it gets to the ninth turn, the third and final phase becomes way stronger to the point that you just might as well give up or use it as a challenge. You essentially want to set this time up for buffs, which we're going to do, or you can use the time to switch out to your other party, which we don't need to do. Yeah, we're setting up our buffs. And the three sisters here defeated in the second form, and now we're at the third phase. So, for third phase, not really a very difficult phase, with a lot of things it can do.
And with the kick-ass music too.
Uh-huh.
But we're not going to hear too much badly.
And this is where the Dojigiri Yasatsuna on Moko matters. This is why you need it, is this as a... has 100,000 HP, Divine Barrier,
Get ready on time.
and is a foreign god. Yeah, the thing is, though, is with Pascal, if you're lucky enough to get a double hit...
Oh no! Patchy!
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to get a double hit and 6 out of 5 crits, you can one-shot the boss. And time. Yeah. We were just short of damage there, but thankfully we have that little extra bit, that little 1% extra bit of damage that Patchy gets.
Yeah, basically how that happens is if Yomu has 1 point in strength, then she will one-shot the boss. If not, then Patchouli finishes it.
That's also possible because we got the Echo Amulet back in the chapter where we fought Yumu and Yuko, by the way. And that was a very, very old thing, and now it's basically required.
And you get an accessory 10% added dark damage with dark resistance. We also have Heat Wave Amulet on Mako, which is extra fire damage. And we got that early as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we still have that equipped.
There's so many things
Yeah.
that it didn't get to go through. Like, this game is massive. It's so great. There's so many things. It's
Oh yeah,
it's
there's
fantastic.
so many mechanics that I could just go on and on about, like
I
shields.
did go on and on about.
And yeah,
Hey,
I think there was some stuff that I missed, even with that.
it was good commentary. I couldn't have done without it because this game is intense and I have to focus on the run instead of commentary.
Yeah,
So one
when
time I
last-
tried to do commentary while running, I ended up with like 350 terrible run. So yay.
Yeah, when I ran this game earlier on the RPG Limit Break channel, I think it was an earlier Questing for Glory.
I think it was
one.
Blessing for Glory too.
it was 2 or
It
3.
was 2. I would think it would be 2. But
Yeah,
yeah,
probably 2.
there was not a whole lot of commentary that I could do just because I had to concentrate so much on playing the game. And now that I'm on the commentary booth, I can actually explain things. And boy, did I do that.
And I have social awkwardness.
It's
Yeah, I
okay,
know,
you did fine, ZF.
I prepped a 17-page document for this.
I have a lot of trouble just speaking in front of people.
You did your best.
Oh my god, Yuko is here!
And yeah, I think about this. Yeah, story-wise, we beat them. The fog is now lifted. We're now friends. They're no longer trying to be the strongest. The end. But then the thing is, though, is the actual ending cutscene goes through literally every single character and has like a funny quip from it's like 1 or 2 minutes long. Which means that it's 30 minute. It's a 30-minute final cutscene, ending cutscene.
Yeah, from now on, right now, I'm not doing anything. It's just going to roll for 7 moves.
Yeah. So if we want to go to the next run, now would be a nice time. I think PX is set up.
Yeah, just like to thank everyone for helping me for commentary.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to thank Blessing for Glory staff for allowing me to showcase this amazing run. And yeah, it's such a good RPG and it's such a good run. And I hope that more people are interested in at least playing the game or running it. Because the run is really cool. As it's not just an RPG speedrun where you do cool menus, you save time. You also have to do cool dodges. And the cool dodges is so fun to do. It's just so fun. And hopefully the Steam version will be translated in English so that other people can discover the game more easily.
It's in the process of it.
Yeah, it's in the process. And
yeah, right now I'm showcasing a version that I downloaded very, very much legally, but I have a copy of the game somewhere in my room that I got in Japan. Because there's a physical copy of this game, somehow.
Yeah, and he sent the game to me, and that's how I got it.
Yeah! He patched it in English, and yeah. That's how it worked.
One more shout out I want to give is while I was making this document, I talked to Sass for to do commentary on the Japanese restream, and he listened in on the 2 sessions that I gave him for this entire run. So thank you, Sass, and also thank you, Sass, for doing such a good job for what I assume is a very good job commentating this run.
Hey,
Yeah,
considering
so-
he's the only time he's even seen it is watching me play it, I'd say that any amount is good.
Shout out to the Japanese restream, you guys are awesome. Oh yeah, by the way, Komachi is about to die in about 5 seconds. But yeah, this ending can roll for a bit. If you guys want to cut us, now is the time we are good. I think?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
now we've got our shoutouts done, so we are good.
Take it away.